is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. We made it to the middle of the week. It is Wednesday, August 19th. I'm Tori here with Al, and the gorgeous Lindsay joins us from home. The smart Lindsay as well, because looks are not all that matters.
Lindsay, I got none of those adjectives, but they are all accurate about you. How are you this morning?
Tori, every day you give me a compliment, I'm really flattered. I'm complimented out. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. All right, we're going to get to the second night of the Democratic Convention. It took care of some business last night. The Dems formally nominated Joe Biden for presidency on day 2 of the convention. There he is. This came after a virtual roll call vote, which seemed to resonate surprisingly well. I fell in love with the way they did it. It featured diverse people at picturesque locations from coast to coast and around the world. Dr. Jill Biden delivered her speech from the high school where she used to teach English in the 90s. She said her husband has what it takes to, quote, bring us together and make us whole. She also taught all 8 years she was second lady. She was a full-time teacher as well. Meantime, social media was buzzing about former President, Bill Clinton. He used his speech to attack the current president. Take a look.
If you want a president who defines the job as spending hours a day watching TV and zapping people on social media, he's your man. Denying, distracting, and demeaning works great if you're trying to entertain or inflame. But in a real crisis, it collapses like a house of cards. COVID just doesn't respond to any of that. To beat it, you've got to actually go to work and deal with the facts.
So, a lot of people asking right now, is Bill Clinton the right man to lecture about behavior in the Oval Office? Linz, what was your first take when you saw Bill Clinton speak?
I mean, he has his opinion and came out, and I appreciate them getting former presidents to speak, but I'm scared that the whole convention will turn into this thing where everybody is bashing Trump as opposed to saying, like, what the actual policies are going to be that they're going to put in place or why they're behind Joe Biden. And so I'm looking for more of that. But I know the message from both Bill Clinton and Michelle Obama was, like, facts over fear and things like that, and they were just consistent with listen to the facts, listen to the scientists, and so I think that's important.
Yeah, and Bill Clinton is one of the greatest orators of our time, whether you like his policies or not, or his behavior. In 2012 at the DNC, Al, he gave one of the best speeches you'll ever hear. But the Me Too movement, he got 5 minutes and not in a headlining position. Other people took the stage, like Jack Schlossberg and Caroline Kennedy. That is Caroline's son and JFK's grandson. And I thought they did a wonderful job connecting. Did you have any favorite moments, Al?
I really liked what Colin Powell had to say. And I just, I look at, I want us to be able, and maybe this is very pie in the sky. Lindsay, Tori, tell me if I'm just an old fool. I do like the fact that he's a Republican, a lifelong Republican, a lifelong military guy, and he's still behind Joe Biden, just because I would like to have some semblance of hope that one day the Democratic and Republican Party can work together in some way, and it's not seen as something that will be used against you the next time you run for office.
Interesting. Lindsay, what was your favorite takeaway? Go ahead.
Well, I think with former Ohio Governor John Kasich yesterday, and then with Cindy McCain, 2 days ago, and Cindy McCain last night, I think it's important that you have these Republicans come out and say their support or why they're supporting Joe Biden. I know that one thing that Cindy McCain was very clear on is that Joe Biden and her husband, the late John McCain, had a very strong relationship for 30 plus years working across the aisle. And I've been telling you guys, I think that's an important stance for Joe Biden to run on.
Yes, and that he's just a decent man, right? It's really that versus what we have now is the argument the Democrats are trying to make. My favorite moment was Jacqueline Brittany. She formally nominated him, and she is a security guard who works in the New York Times elevator. And she said, people get in here and go to their meetings. No one looks at me. No one talks to me. No one notices me. Joe Biden noticed me. He's my friend. He's going to take my story. He's going to go into that meeting, and he's going to represent me. And she formally nominated him for the roll call. And I thought that was pretty cool.
And that tie was awesome as well.
Right?
Yeah,
amazing.
Good call.
I thought it was just, he's one of the working people, and I think they did a nice job on that. But let's see what the other side is saying.
One person that didn't nominate Joe Biden was AOC, and I found that very interesting. She said, I'm still going with my Bernie, which was very kind of a little bit crazy at this time.
Well, a lot of people said that, but according to convention rules, you do need to nominate anyone that makes the threshold of delegates. So he did need to be nominated, but it's very clear, as Lindsay said, where the progressive side of the Democrats lay, and that is with AOC and Bernie. I completely agree with you. What does the other side say about day 2 of the Democratic convention? So here's what some of the Trump campaign had to say in response last night on their YouTube channel.
I think we have a real problem here for the Democrat Party. They're not enthusiastic. Their programming isn't enthusiastic. They're running on this socialist platform. I mean, they put out young stars like AOC. She's not even talking about Joe Biden. I mean, they have a real problem with their base. They have a real problem with their party, even though they're running further and further to the left.
Okay. Do you think they're right for calling these people out sort of for being losers, or are they kind of going against them? I wish we were back to what Lindsay said, which is policy. What do you think, Linz? We were debating policy.
I think everybody's in this new space that they haven't been in and really just trying to figure out how to navigate this. I think President Trump plans to go do things actually in person, and I know that a lot of the Democrats plan to do things virtually. And so watching the whole convention, as I told you guys yesterday, I think that it's just this new space that we're in.
Yeah.
So of course there were like glitches and some of the things that these people that you just showed were discussing, but like everybody's in this weird space where we're just trying to get information from each of the potential candidates and get it safely.
Yeah.
Lindsay's in a weird space right now.
Why are you
You're
in
not
our
here on the
gallery?
panel with us.
Right.
People's children are in a weird space because they are at home. My daughter in Atlanta tried to go to school the first day. She was the only child in her class.
Oh my God.
She is now back home. Her younger brother, not related to me, but her half brother, I don't know how you say that, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, he went to school and he was one of 2 kids in his class. Everybody is in a weird space right now. Parents are in a weird space right now. Talk show hosts are in a weird space right now. The NHL, the NBA is in a weird space right now. We need to get out of this weird space, and there's one way to do it, and it's by social distancing and by eradicating this thing. But if we want to keep talking around it, we'll have another year of this.
Well, let's talk about that, actually, because we want to know how you all feel about the way the U.S. has responded to the coronavirus pandemic, how we feel we've done. So a new CNN poll shows that nearly 7 in 10 Americans say they feel embarrassed. About 8 in 10 Americans say they are at least somewhat angry about how things are going in the country today, with nearly 51% saying they were, quote, very angry.
That means that there was an angry, and then somebody wrote in very angry. And they were like, so many people are writing very angry, we have to put another category.
Angry. Strongly disagree. Well, clearly people's emotions are running high, with many feeling frustrated, including Anderson Cooper. You've got to see this exchange he had on his show with the MyPillow founder, Mike Lindell, who claims that an extract from a toxic plant, oleander, is the answer to the virus. Remember, this is not peer-reviewed or scientific, and Anderson wasn't having it. Take a look.
So he gets a meeting with the president, and you stand to make money from this. How do you sleep at night? No evidence.
Save lives.
How are you different than a snake oil salesman? You have no medical background. There's no evidence of this substance. It hasn't been tested in animals or humans.
So Mike Lindell has given a lot of money to the President Trump's campaign, but also he's on the board of this biotech company that's selling the oleander-like medicine that is not peer-reviewed and is not a cure. I want to make sure we say that. Lindsay, what do you think? How does he sleep at night? On his MyPillow?
I think there are a lot of people that have a lot of ideas on how to get rid of COVID, and none of them have been proven. I mean, I could list out the things that I've heard, like take this pill or put your head over this thing to get more steam. Like, there's so many things that everybody has, but you cannot spew them out when you're overseeing a big tech company or overseeing any type of medical company or on any board. People are following and listening to what you say, and when you have a national platform, you really have to be careful about saying some of those things so people can stay safe until we know for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead,
I'm
Al.
sorry. I want to have a really intelligent comment to make, Tori, but I just need to know what's going on with that plant behind Lindsay. It looks like a giant from Game of Thrones slammed it against the wall.
Look at the
What is that?
Fascinating.
They told me that my background was too boring, so I got a colorful plant.
So
and
you
now
have
you're
a
complaining about
murder
this.
plant behind you?
And a Jackson Pollock.
What is happening behind Lindsay?
Excuse me.
This is bigger than the
abstract art.
convention.
Excuse me.
It's art. Final say. We got it. It's art. Coming up on DBL, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, is weighing in on the topic of something called herd immunity. She's going to explain what it is and how to achieve it. Plus, we got Jim Belushi. He's taking people behind the scenes of his new cannabis farm. He tells Jeff what inspired his new reality show. And DBL is new every day solely because our coworkers.
Nice shot.
I know.
That looks so good.
Look at my legs, look so white. Our coworkers are producing the show from home. Stay safe, everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. With coronavirus news changing all the time, we know it can be hard to keep up. We really do. And that's why we don't just trust Al and Tori. We trust our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, in a beautiful...
That's who I trust.
4-leaf clover green. I do as well. Now, to make sense of this...
Also, that's not a color. Just keep reading, but that's not a color.
I know. I knew it. I knew it as I said it.
Okay.
I apologize. Doc, I need you to weigh in on this one. It's going to be called herd immunity, and it's H-E-R-D, and I want to get your take. Since the pandemic hit, I'm trying to get the prompter to roll real quick. Scientists have been trying to figure out how many people in a community must be immune to the virus before it fades out. This is the idea of herd immunity. It's a little hard to explain, so can you explain it easily for us?
It's a complicated concept, Tori, but we can break it down quite simply. So if no one in society is immune to a disease, the disease or the virus spreads very quickly. On the other hand, if many people in society are immune, it actually slows the spread of the virus, and the virus peters itself out. And so you can be immune to the disease just by being part of a herd, even if you yourself don't have immunity, just because those around you have immunity, and that causes the virus to stop spreading. Yeah.
I heard that.
Oh, I was waiting for that one. But I mean, I'm sure you looked at this story at 7 o'clock this morning, like, wait till she hears my herd punch.
Shut up, Val.
All right, so Doc, I have to ask you this, and we've actually gotten this question a million times, so let's get this out there. How would the U.S. achieve herd immunity, and is it possible?
So, Al, there's two ways to achieve herd immunity. The first is people get sick, they recover from the virus, and they have antibodies or immune system response to the virus that then makes them immune from reinfection. The second is vaccination. So people get a vaccination, mount an antibody response, and are then immune from the infection. But in both ways, you have to be immune from the infection in order for herd immunity to work. And enough people in the herd have to have immunity. So that's called a herd immunity threshold. How many people in the herd have to be immune? So for this virus, they had initially calculated that to be about 60 to 70%, but a new paper just came out in the journal Science that says it may be as low as 43% for us to achieve herd immunity. But that's still a lot, so keep in mind that means 43% of the population has to have immunity.
Interesting. All right, well, Sweden, I believe this is right. Sweden tried this. It didn't go perfectly, am I right? Is this a strategy you think works to contain the virus?
No, you're absolutely right. Sweden tried it. It was a failed experiment. And using infection to achieve herd immunity is very dangerous, Tori, for two reasons. Number one, millions of people have to die because you have to get the infection and some percentage of people will die from the infection.
Wow.
The second is even if you achieve infection in whatever 60% of the people for herd immunity, those antibodies have to last. And we're seeing studies that show that they can start fading as soon as 1 month after infection. So the best way to achieve herd immunity is really through that vaccine.
Vaccinating. Do you think we can get 43%? Do you, Doc, think we can get 43% of the population to
What would that be, 160 million people, roughly?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, there's so many people with their own theories, Doc. I mean, I wonder, do you feel like there'll be so many people and so many facts that people won't really know where to get their actual information from?
We really have to get that, you guys, because otherwise the vaccine won't even work, because that's how vaccines work, is by achieving herd immunity. So we have to get the word out that that vaccine has to be used in a widespread fashion.
Wow. Thank you again. Wonderful, wonderful information on herd immunity. Terrible, terrible pun. You'll be back tomorrow. If you have a question about coronavirus you want answered by the doc, write us on social media or email info@dailyblastlive.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. 38 years ago, Jim Belushi lost his legendary brother, John, to a drug overdose. The tragedy inspired Jim to start a cannabis farm in Oregon. Jeff caught up with him earlier to talk about his new reality show, which follows his farming adventures. It premieres tonight. Take a look.
Jim Belushi, welcome to DBL. I'm a huge fan of yours. For people who don't know, you must be living under a rock. You're an actor, a comedian, singer, musician, and now with 93 acres of land in Oregon, you could add farmer to that list. How did you decide what you're going to do with all that land, Jim?
You know what? I bought a little cabin-like place and built a house on the Rogue River in Southern Oregon on like 13 acres. And then the property behind me was an 80-acre farm that was up for sale. So I bought it, and then I didn't know what to grow. And cannabis became recreational and legal at that moment. I went, well, it's the new agriculture. Let's see what this is all about. It's a lot of marijuana.
You recently posted a photo of your late brother, John, on the Belushi Farm Instagram with the caption, "If my brother John was a pothead, he'd still be here today." How has his story influenced what you're doing on the farm right now?
I believe that. You know, opiates is a huge crisis. I mean, where there are dispensaries, the counties that have dispensaries, the opiate overdoses are down 25%. I mean, cannabis is a path off of opiates for veterans and overprescribed patients, a path to relieve anxiety, inflammation, sleeplessness, depression, Alzheimer's, even hopelessness. All this is a part of wellness in cannabis, and that is part of the show.
Yeah, and I would imagine there's a steep learning curve with this industry, which I'm sure, like you said, we'll get to see on your new show, Growing Belushi. Do you have any stories of farming mishaps that maybe you could share with us right now?
That's all the show is about, are my mishaps. I mean, the learning curve is steep, and I am slipping down this curve, just grabbing onto the road, trying to hang on. Let me tell you, it's for an actor to become a farmer, it was costly, not only financially, but emotionally, you know, and I learned a lot.
You're a farmer now. Does this mean you're done with Hollywood?
No, I do both. Why not? One isn't in contrast to the other. Actually, I've married both of them together. I'm farming and I film it too. So I can bring everything I know together.
Exactly. Mike Tyson's also a farmer. He's got a ranch, I think, out in Las Vegas. Would you fight him for title of best farmer?
Never. He can have it.
I thought I'd just throw it in there. Jim Belushi, thank you so much for joining us here on DBL. And for those of you wanting to follow along on Jim's wild ride, tune into Growing Belushi on Discovery. Again, Jim, I can't thank you enough, and go Bears.
Go Bears, and thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
All right, best of luck to you, Jim. Talk to you soon. We'll be right back, everybody.
Welcome back to DBL. See how I was trying to get my pony in there? Growing a garden at home is fun and rewarding, but we know not everyone has the space for it, seriously. That's why I'm here to show you how to make your own mini herb garden using a shoe rack. Here's this week's DBL Home Hack presented by American Home Shield. Hey guys, Tori here for this week's Home Hack. I'm in the DBL backyard and I'm going to show you how to make a DIY herb garden using an over-the-door shoe rack. It's easy, it's inexpensive, and it adds that little flair, you know, to your backyard. Let's get to it. Okay, so here's what you need. An over-the-door shoe rack. You can get these at Walmart or Target, even the dollar store. Then you want some outdoor potting soil. And of course, you want to pick a few of your favorite herbs. Basil, mint, maybe some rosemary if you're feeling feisty. So the first thing you need to do is make drainage holes like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. These are happy holes. Drainage holes. You're gonna fill the holes with some potting soil. Now you get to put your herbs in. So here's a little parsley, sage. Of course, you gotta get your chives. Get your chives on. And of course, a little thyme, because we all need time on our hands.
When it comes to your home, American Home Shield warranty helps cover many things homeowners insurance leaves out. Call American Home Shield at 1-800-919-3629 to get a free quote today.
It's cute.
Yeah.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking, really?
It was interesting.
Wait, what does interesting mean? Say it for real.
I learned a lot from you stuffing dirt into a shoe container. And honestly, you know, my girl plants stuff. And
Mary would love this.
She would love that.
Imagine being like, do you want some tomato basil marinara? Let me go to the shoe rack.
And you know what? As somebody that had a balcony for a long time at apartments, this is the way to go.
Totally. Well, I'm glad I racked up that one. DBL is new every day. Did I ruin it?
I hope they heard that.
I think we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
We've got the hits and misses from day 2 at the Democratic Convention, with Bill Clinton making his case for Joe Biden.
And you know what Joe Biden will do? Build back better.
Is he the right guy to be speaking at the DNC? In today's True Crime Chronicles, an unbelievable story of redemption as a retired officer catches the man who shot him nearly 50 years ago.
I'm reveling in the fact that I got him.
And is Todd Chrisley aging in reverse? The new selfie that has fans wondering what work he's had done. Is it really just good Botox?
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, August 19th, hump day.
Yes.
How are you, Al?
I feel great, Sam. How are you?
You seem like you feel great.
I'm in good spirits. Went for a nice run this morning.
God, I want what you have.
I feel good.
I want a piece of Al. Eric, don't run with that. Erica, we are in the same outfit.
Stop.
Yes.
This is amazing.
You guys have made it so I look weird.
I'm like, are we wearing the same dress?
Erica Cobb, this, first of all, the fact that you and I, Miss Erica, thought to, so Eric and I both rent from a company called Rent the Runway, okay? Just to give you a little behind the scenes inside scoop.
If we don't get an endorsement now.
What the heck? But this is just so, the point that Erica liked this dress and I like this dress just makes me feel hip and cool.
Yeah, kindred spirits.
I know.
Girl, it's so crazy because, so Kiri, our stylist, was like, oh, do you have a short sleeve dress? But I'm like, yeah, I'll wear this one. And that was all I had. So I'm like, all right, cool. Great.
I just got a note from our producer, Michael Dean, that Tori, our other co-host, wore this same exact dress 2 weeks ago. All right.
Hand me down.
All right.
COVID's affecting everybody.
Pandemic problems. I hope this goes viral because just looking at the image right now on the screen is hilarious. I love you, Erica.
Love you.
Okay. All right, let's get to the top of the news. The Democratic convention took care of some business last night. The Dems formally nominated Joe Biden for presidency on day 2 of the convention. This came after a virtual roll call vote, which seemed to resonate surprisingly well. It featured diverse people at picturesque locations from coast to coast and around the world. Dr. Jill Biden delivered her speech from the high school where she used to teach English in the 90s. She said her husband has what it takes to bring us together and make us whole. Meantime, social media was buzzing about former President Bill Clinton. He used his speech to attack the current president. Watch.
If you want a president who defines the job as spending hours a day watching TV and zapping people on social media, he's your man. Denying, distracting, and demeaning works great if you're trying to entertain or inflame. But in a real crisis, it collapses like a house of cards. COVID just doesn't respond to any of that. To beat it, you've got to actually go to work and deal with the facts.
Okay, Erica, my twin, I'm not going to get used to this. Okay, so the fact that Bill Clinton, and I was reading the tweets last night, I was reading just 10 minutes ago what DBL Nation is saying, a lot of you feel like that he did more harm than good. Do you think that Bill Clinton was the right man to lecture about behavior in the Oval Office, Erica?
I think that Bill Clinton was the right man to address, to have the address that he made, simply because we're speaking about someone who has experience in this White House, has experience leading a nation. And what the real message behind all of these speeches are, experience versus experiment, right? Michelle Obama talked about in terms of Trump has had plenty of time to figure this out, and he has not met the task. He's not up to this occasion. When we're talking about experience versus experiment, we also have to bring in Dr. Biden, who also continued in the classroom even when she was serving as second lady. So I think that when we're looking at the grand scheme of things, we're not speaking to people who don't want to be spoken to. We're speaking to people who are either on the fence or already are going to back this campaign and back this ticket. And I think that's exactly who we need to speak to.
Interesting. Do you agree, Al?
I do. You know, Bill Clinton's a polarizing figure. Everybody in politics is an ultra polarizing figure because at this point where we are in our politics, no one that's not polarizing gets elected. I think the days of the kind of robotic Republicans like Bob Dole are gone. The days of the kind of generic Democratic candidate are gone. I think you need to be considered what some people say is extreme when you look at an AOC or you look at a Matt Gaetz. You need people to say inflammatory things to get attention. and look at our president. So I think this is kind of par for the course.
Okay, listen, I'm still waiting for your comments, Michael Dean. Okay, I have them. This is coming from DBL Nation as we speak in real time. I always want to make sure I bring in your voice. In regard to the convention last night, we have Molly on YouTube. AOC didn't even talk about Joe Biden. What a joke for the DNC. Davis on YouTube. Oh, now we're seeing Republicans switch to Joe Biden's side. What a joke. And then we also have Nelson. Whoa, matching dresses. Love them to bits. Thank you. Listen, I know that we're going to have two sides here because that's just the way it boils down to. Unfortunately, now it becomes so partisan, and I hate that. I wish that we weren't so partisan when it comes to politics, but given that we are how many days until the election, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. I hope that we can remain civil. This was one part that really struck me last night. The security guard, if you guys remember last night, Jacqueline Brittany. So she works at the New York Times. If you did not see this, this is a security guard at the New York Times. She takes, or escorts rather, many powerful people up that elevator in that New York Times building, whether it be interviews. And she said that Joe Biden really saw her, really spoke to her, really took the time, really tried to understand her and her needs. That means something to me. I'm going to put politics aside, whether you are a current president, whether you are Joe Biden, whether you're Al Jackson or Erica Cobb. I want people who have a conscience. I want people who treat people with empathy, and I want people who see everybody for who they are and hope that they can empower them and uplift them. Some people say that that's me with rose-colored glasses, but
I don't think you said anything that crazy, Sam. I completely agree.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, it is that crazy because I'll tell you who really benefits from this, benefits from us fighting. Think about like if it is a situation with infidelity. The best situation for that guy is the two women to go at it because now he's absolved of any responsibility.
Great point.
So as long as we keep going back with these identity politics and things like that, guess what? Everybody's kids are still at home. Guess what? No one's gotten their second stimulus check. Guess what? 80% of the tax cuts went to the 1%, to the 10%. So as long as we're fighting and name calling and talking about taking somebody's guns or abortion, all these kinds of things, we'll continue to live the life that we're living.
I know. I want us to all be in this together somehow. Call me naive. So what is the other side saying about day 2 of the Democratic convention? I just read you some of the comments. Well, here's some of what the Trump campaign said about it last night on their YouTube channel.
I think we have a real problem here for the Democrat Party. They're not enthusiastic. Their programming isn't enthusiastic. They're running on this socialist platform. I mean, they put out young stars like AOC. She's not even talking about Joe Biden. I mean, they have a real problem with their base. They have a real problem with their party, even though they're running further and further to the left.
Okay, Erica, quick comment because we have some really important stories to get to. What do you think about them saying that the Dems are being too far left?
I think I echo Al Jackson's sentiments. As much as we can go back and forth, it's not going to change the current state of affairs. And if people want something better, then they're going to have to think in terms of longevity in their future.
Well said. Keep the comments coming, DBL Nation. I love hearing what you have to say. So a campaign ad has gone viral. Today, the president is backing the GOP candidate who you see here. She's 38-year-old Kim Klacik. She's running to fill the seat left vacant by Elijah Cummings. Her viral ad has been viewed more than 250,000 times on Twitter, showing what she calls the real Baltimore. Take a look.
I'm Kim Klacik. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decade?
Okay, so Republicans, their campaign strategy right now is to go to these cities that are democratically run and saying that they are a mess. Do you think it's working, yes or no?
I think it'll work for the people that only look at that ad on the surface level. They're not talking about the policies that made those communities look like that, the redlining that goes on, the removing of tax dollars so that there's the food deserts, the economic deserts, the people fleeing to the suburbs. This is why that's like that. So I didn't see any solutions. I just saw them highlighting the result of decades long of bad policy.
Yeah, I want solutions too. All right, so we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to DBL. During the pandemic, we keep hearing the term over and over again, herd immunity, herd immunity. Well, earlier, our medical expert, Dr. Paul Coley, explained what it means to Tori and I. So take a look.
Scientists have been trying to figure out how many people in a community must be immune to the virus before it fades out. This is the idea of herd immunity. It's a little hard to explain, so can you explain it easily for us?
It's a complicated concept, Tori, but we can break it down quite simply. So if no one in society is immune to a disease, the disease or the virus spreads very quickly. On the other hand, if many people in society are immune, it actually slows the spread of the virus, and the virus peters itself out. And so you can be immune to the disease just by being part of a herd, even if you yourself don't have immunity, just because those around you have immunity, and that causes the virus to stop spreading. Yeah.
I heard that.
Oh, I was waiting for that one. But we just, I mean, I'm sure you looked at this story at 7 o'clock this morning, like, wait till she hears my herd punch.
Shut up, Val.
All right, so Doc, I have to ask you this, and we've actually gotten this question a million times, so let's get this out there. How would the U.S. achieve herd immunity, and is it possible?
So, Al, there's two ways to achieve herd immunity. The first is people get sick, they recover from the virus, and they have antibodies or immune system response to the virus that then makes them immune from reinfection. The second is vaccination. So people get a vaccination, mount an antibody response, and are then immune from the infection. But in both ways, you have to be immune from the infection in order for herd immunity to work. And enough people in the herd have to have immunity. So that's called a herd immunity threshold. How many people in the herd have to be immune? So for this virus, they had initially calculated that to be about 60 to 70%, but a new paper just came out in the journal Science that says it may be as low as 43% for us to achieve herd immunity. But that's still a lot, so keep in mind that means 43% of the population has to have immunity.
Interesting. All right, well, Sweden, I believe this is right. Sweden tried this. It didn't go perfectly, am I right? Is this a strategy you think works to contain the virus?
No, you're absolutely right. Sweden tried it. It was a failed experiment. And using infection to achieve herd immunity is very dangerous, Tori, for two reasons. Number one, millions of people have to die because you have to get the infection, and some percentage of people will die from the infection.
Wow.
The second is, even if you achieve infection in whatever 60% of the people for herd immunity, those antibodies have to last. And we're seeing studies that show that they can start fading as soon as 1 month after infection. So the best way to achieve herd immunity is really through that vaccine.
Vaccinating. Do you think we can get 43%? Do you, Doc, think we can get 43% of the population to
What would that be, 160 million people, roughly? Not,
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, there's so many people with their own theories, Doc. I mean, I wonder, do you feel like there'll be so many people and so many facts that people won't really know where to get their actual information from?
We really have to get that, you guys, because otherwise the vaccine won't even work, because that's how vaccines work, is by achieving herd immunity. So we have to get the word out that that vaccine has to be used in a widespread fashion.
Wow. Thank you again. Wonderful, wonderful information on herd immunity. Terrible, terrible pun. You'll be back tomorrow. If you have a question about coronavirus you want answered by the doc, write us on social media or email info@dailyblastlive.com. We'll be right back.
Do you worry about
Welcome back to DBL. A fugitive was on the run for nearly 50 years after shooting a police officer. All these years later, it's a story of redemption. He was finally caught by the same cop who he shot. Here's the update in DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
It was 1971. Darryl Cinquanta was working as a Denver police officer when he was shot in the stomach by Lawrence Pusateri, an escaped convict from California. Lawrence was caught and convicted for the shooting, only for him to escape again. He led police on a nearly 50-year chase until a phone call this summer changed everything.
This person says, I thought about it, and I'm going to tell you where the guy is that shot you.
Darryl, now retired from the Denver Police Department, started his own private investigation firm years ago and never gave up finding the convict who shot him.
And of course, I was skeptical. I mean, 46 years later, now the clear blue, I get a phone call. Well, this person gives me his address, his alias.
With that information, Darryl tracks down a man named Ramon Montoya. He was tied to a drunk driving case and this mugshot. The pieces aligned. That man was Lawrence Pusateri. Lawrence has been living under an alias in Espanola, New Mexico for the past 40 years. Darryl tipped off local police and FBI to the fugitive's home.
They surrounded it with a SWAT unit and they went in and got him.
46 years later, a story of redemption and a full circle moment for Darryl.
I'm reveling in the fact that I got him. And they're going to extradite him back, and I'm going to try to see him.
How wild. Earlier, Jeff and I spoke with a reporter who actually interviewed the retired officer. Take a look. We are joined by investigative reporter Jeremy Hohola from 9 News right here in Denver, Colorado. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you recently spoke with Darryl, the retired detective. He mentioned he wants to sit down and talk to Lawrence. What does he want to tell him all these years later?
Yeah, I know. What do you say to a person who shot you so many decades ago and then you catch them? I asked Darryl that very question. Darryl told me that he would initially commend him for staying under the radar for so long. But then I think he also doesn't really know what he would say to this guy. I think he'd probably come up with that the day they would meet, if they would ever meet.
Jeremy, do we know who the mystery caller was that tipped Darryl off? And was Lawrence's family ever aware he was living under an alias?
So I understand that Darryl, for decades, has been making calls to this man's family for years and to friends. It's unknown who that caller is. Maybe that caller got fed up with Lawrence. Maybe that caller was angry at him and just decided to come out of the blue, as Darryl said in that report, that he was going to turn over his name. As far as his family is concerned, I understand he was living with a wife who was completely oblivious to his past. So this came as a shock to her, from what I understand.
Unbelievable. It's like a horrific, creepy movie. And Jeremy, you previously worked as an investigative reporter in New Mexico. So can you tell us more about where Lawrence was found and how he evaded capture for so long?
So in this part of New Mexico, it's outside of the Santa Fe area. Everybody knows where Santa Fe, New Mexico is. It's kind of in the heart of the state. Outside of Santa Fe, the city of Espanola has been there for a very, very, very long time, since the late 1500s. It's a very old city. It's not a major metropolitan area. The population is about 10,000 people. So you're able to fly under the radar in an area like this, and people generally, keep to themselves in this part of the state. So back then, when this man evaded law enforcement, he was able to fly under the radar and likely create a whole new identity because, the internet really didn't exist back then in its current form. You could create paper documents. Nothing was digitized. So it was much easier to create a false identity. And that's what this guy did for decades.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And Jeremy, thank you so much for your investigative work. To learn more about this case, DBL Nation, you can visit 9news.com. We'll be right back. Thank you, Jeremy. Great seeing you.
Promotional consideration is
Welcome back to DBL. Erica is working from home. Oh my gosh, Erica, I just love seeing this side by side of you and I. Al, we've got comments. What do we got?
We certainly do, Sam. Kathy from Facebook says, love the dresses that Erica and Sam are wearing. Also love your show. Thank you, Kathy. Nelson from Facebook says, wow, matching dresses, love them to bits. I never use that phrase, love something to bits. And Barbara says, ladies, you look awesome. No comments about me so far. And Denise on Facebook says, love that dress with a purple heart.
Yes.
So yeah, I like what you guys are wearing. I think you guys look very cute.
I feel honored that I'm wearing something that Erica Cobb would pick.
Yeah, you guys have like completely synced up.
Girl,
you guys are in
please.
simpatico. I love it.
I'm a cool mom.
Ooh,
Yes.
Cool moms don't say that. You just live
This
that.
never happens.
I know it never happens, Erica. Okay, so if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. Spears versus Spears. Why Britney wants her dad to stay out of her finances. And has reality star Todd Chrisley found the fountain of youth. Wow. DBL's new every day. We will be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I am Sam here with Al. Erica joining us from home. No need to do a double take. We are wearing the same dress, a little doublemint fun, if you will.
See, I like it though, Sam, because you guys, like, obviously we're all locked down with COVID, but I do like that because you're reminding me like Disney World vibes, like when black families go on a family reunion, they all wear the same thing. And you guys are really, you guys say Jackson family, Orlando 2020. That's it.
Oh my God. Now white families do that
Yeah,
too.
I love it. You can find your people. You guys could never get lost at Disney World.
Oh, Erica, we need to get some Mickey Mouse hats and go to Disney World dressed like this.
I'm here for it.
You know it's your favorite place on earth, Sam. We all know.
Oh, and I miss it. We need COVID to be over with so I can get back there.
Yes.
All right, let's get started. Britney Spears wants to make some changes when it comes to who manages her money. Court documents reveal Britney does not want her dad to be her sole conservator anymore. Jamie Spears was appointed Britney's conservator back in 2008 after she experienced a series of mental breakdowns. Instead, Britney wants her care manager to stay in the role. She was named temporary conservator last year after Jamie stepped down due to health reasons. And Britney's mom also wants a say. In July, Lynn Spears filed documents requesting she be involved in Britney's finances. Wow. Erica, what do you make of this story? What should happen to Britney's finances? Should Jamie permanently step down?
Sam, If I knew the answers to all of that, I likely wouldn't be sitting here in this. I would probably be in an island somewhere. I really do think that Britney Spears is a prime example of someone who has never really seemingly had her say. I mean, she got into this industry so early and she kind of became this machine, and she's a person. And I think at this point, what she wants and what she needs should be honored.
Yeah, and I've dug into this, and listen, I don't know every detail. I'm not a judge. I'm not an attorney. However, I know that conservatorship abuse does happen. It happens more regularly than you and I would like to believe. And many people do speculate that this is exactly what's happening with Britney Spears. She's been under conservatorship of her father, minus this last year, for 12 years. 12 years.
And it's been tumultuous.
So, yeah, and listen, if Jamie has done a great job, then let the judge look into it and say just that. I'm happy that she is allowing herself, a team of people, hopefully unbiased, to go in there and relook at the situation and make sure that she is not in a situation of abuse.
I completely agree. I mean, you look at what she went through in, I believe it was 2006, 2007, and, you know, it didn't look good for Britney. But the team around her rallied, and she's led a very productive, illustrious career since then, which no one saw when we were seeing her shave her head.
Yes.
So that just shows, that goes to show you that with the right care for your mental health and a team around you, you can rebound and rebound in a major way. So I think she's inspiring, and I'm glad that she's advocating for her own mental health.
Me
Good on
too.
her.
Yeah, we wish her all the best. Well, it turns out that Todd Chrisley knows best when it comes to his face. The reality star showed off a fresh new look on Instagram. Whoa. He looks 10, leaving many wondering if the 51-year-old went under the knife. Todd denied having a facelift or even getting fillers, but when actress Lisa Rinna called him out saying he looked 12, Todd replied, well, thank God for laser, Botox, and prayer. I don't know about prayer. I mean, I respect everybody praying, but I don't think prayer is going to fill up your lines. And
Can we stop? Erica, did you see this nonsense? He looks like a high school bully. Let's be honest. He paid for the give me your lunch money package.
Oh, Doyle rules?
Yeah, really.
Erica.
You know, I looked at it and thought, like, I think all of us have a little bit more fullness in our faces at this point.
Erica, stop running for office. Stop it.
No, I'm being serious. I think that when your face is a little fuller, it gives you a more youthful look. And I do think his face looks fuller. And obviously, he's had some things done. Great. If he's happy, if he likes it, I love it.
Wherever he went, they did a good job, because some people get filler and it doesn't look like that. It looks like they had filler. He looks youthful.
He looks like he's wearing a filter on a Facebook app.
Maybe it is a filter. It could be a filter.
It looks strange. I'm sorry. I'm not commenting on somebody's looks. He looks good. Sam.
He does.
You could get arrested for saying that. That's how young he looks. That's very weird. This is like, it's a weird look. He looks strange. Can we just be honest? That's this show. Sam, look at me.
I actually
Sam,
think
look
he looks
here.
good. I've always been honest with you when people get too much filler.
That's not too much. What do you want to Benjamin button it all the way to 6 months?
But you can't. It doesn't look like he got filler. He just looks refreshed.
I don't know what he did. Refreshed.
He looks refreshed.
Yeah, with a time machine, yeah. Looks real good.
He does look a little young.
A little bit.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to get carded. He's 51. He's
He'll
getting carded
definitely
left
get carded.
and right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why don't I get carded anymore? Do you get carded?
No.
I don't either.
No.
Erica, do you get carded? I bet Erica gets carded. Do you get carded, Erica? Okay,
occasionally,
stop.
and
Okay.
it really gets on my husband's nerves
Yeah, okay.
because he's actually younger than me.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Okay, get ready to rumba. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Dancing with the Stars is coming back to TV on September 14th. Now, to prevent the spread of COVID-19, all dance pros will have to live separately from each other for the duration of the season. They also can't have any physical interaction at all, including the pros who are married to each other. Whoa. And in other big news, Britt Stewart, from troop member to dance pro, making her the first Black female professional dancer in 29 seasons. Wow, that's
embarrassing.
Really, yeah. I mean, I'm really happy that she's been given this shot, but too little, too late, Erica.
29 seasons. What do you think, Cop?
29 seasons? What?
I mean, the show is called Dancing with the Stars. Dancing. And it took you 29 seasons to get a Black woman on the show. I'm just saying,
Right?
Erica, what would you say to the people that would say, hey, it's better late than never?
I'm happy for Britt. She seems very happy, and she's talked about being on the troop for quite a long time and how she's always felt celebrated and not just for her skin color. I think that is beautiful, and I think this is a really great thing. I just question why it took so long to get diversity on the show, but great. I think it's great.
Yeah. Crazy, 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 crazy. All right, so Ryan Reynolds isn't as rich as he apparently thinks he is. The actor had to do some backpedaling after he sold his Aviation American Gin for $610 million. Whoa. In an out-of-office message linked to his company's email account, Ryan apologized for telling a long list of people, including wife Blake Lively, to go bleep themselves. Turns out his lawyers informed him what an earnout is and that he's not a George Clooney as he thought. That was a reference to George Clooney's $1 billion sale of his Casamigos tequila back in 2017.
Yeah. So what was on that voicemail?
Listen, I'm sure he was poking fun at himself.
I hope so.
Of course he was.
I mean, he should be embarrassed. $600 million? It's not a billion. Honestly, like, he can't hang with Clooney. He can't.
Albert.
There is a billionaires men's and women's clubs, and he ain't in it. I'm sorry.
Jackson,
Look,
Mr.
hey,
if Albert Jackson ever won the lottery, he claims the first thing he would purchase, thing he would run and go get a gold jumbo jet like Austin Powers.
Yes, I wanted it to be too heavy to fly. We're just gonna roll. But I just tell you this. Look, there's levels to this. Eric, am I wrong? He's at a good level, but he ain't in the billionaire boys and women's club.
You know, Al, I wish I was qualified to comment on this.
Same. Huh. I wonder if he's going to go get an estate in Lake Como.
Maybe.
Ryan Reynolds, where
It'll be
George
in another
Clooney
neighborhood.
is.
He can't hang.
Oh, please. You can go buy a gorgeous estate in Lake Como for a few
you can get a nice studio.
Al is just hating today. Salty Al is back, everybody. Okay, so a YouTuber has created a machine that shoots masks onto people's faces. Alan Pan from the show Mythbusters The Search built the machine to shoot a mask onto a non-wearer's face. He tested it on a dummy before engaging in human trials.
Oh my goodness.
Watch.
Mask on, point blank, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I got a mask on my face. Oh, I can't breathe on you now. Point blank, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yes, it works.
I give credit to his creativity, but that's assault.
Yeah, definitely.
That's assault. You can't go out on the street and blast a face mask onto people's faces.
I would say it's less harmful than possibly blasting Corona in somebody's face. I'll take a mask.
You want someone to blast a mask on your face?
Kind of. I need the views on YouTube.
Erica, what do you make of this?
I just hope that they have plenty of insurance because that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, though.
But Al's volunteering himself. It's very cool.
I'd be down. If he's in Colorado, he can come blast it on my face.
Okay. Wow. All right. Everybody just take a moment, please. Everybody, I know we only have a few people here in the studio, but everyone's snickering.
That was enough.
Yeah.
This will be my last day at Daily Blast Live. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, this one's for you, Al. The Girl Scouts have unveiled a new cookie for 2021. Get a load of the Toast-Yay. The French toast-inspired cookie.
Maybe spitball that name a little bit.
Okay, so it's inspired. It's shaped like miniature slices of bread, topped with icing. Due to the pandemic, the Girl Scouts have made it possible to sell the cookies online. But bad news, Al. The Toast-Yays are only available in select areas, not here in Colorado. What do you think of the new flavor?
You know, Sam, a lot of people might not know why you're targeting me with this line of questioning. I just question the Girl Scouts and where the money's going, but we're not going to go there. Let's focus on the Toast-Yay. First of all,
Toast-Yay.
I said Toast-Yay.
Okay, I thought you said Toast-Jay.
No, but either way, it's not a great name. Okay, let's keep that 100. And I also think that they're shopping on Cinnamon Toast Crunch the street, and I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch better not let that go down. All right, when you see a competitor, you need to see what's up because I feel like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, they've been running for a long time.
You have not tried this new cookie, Al, so you have no idea if it tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. One, it's a cereal. Two, this is a cookie. If anybody's going to be upset, Erica, it's going to be Keebler's Snickerdoodle cookies, because that's exactly what a Snickerdoodle cookie is. It's
no
just not
grown man has ever eaten a Snickerdoodle.
Erica?
Never happened.
I I'm here for the Girl Scouts. Just let them live.
I know.
You know, on their
Erica,
honor,
is it
they
a
will
good
try
name?
to serve God and their country.
French
We need
toast,
this right now.
Do you like French toast, Yay?
It's like French toast. Yay!
Oh, I didn't even put that together. Is that what that is?
Yes.
I thought it was like a
Well, what are some
shout
of their
out
other
to Kanye.
names, Patty? We have the
And I heard that they changed the name of the Samoas because it's culturally insensitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Thin Mints. What are some other ones? Isn't there one with a really interesting, like similar? No, isn't there like a diddly do or something?
Diddly do? I don't know about that one. I think you dreamed that and then came to work.
No diddly doos?
No.
Skill wag or something?
Don't, Sam.
Tag along.
Oh,
Tag alongs.
Skill wag. Skill wag. That sounds like an app to teach your dog tricks. Skill wag.
That's good.
That'd be good.
An app to teach your dog tricks. Skill wag, patent it right now.
All right.
Before one of DBL Nation jumps on it.
I got
Don't you
intellectual
dare.
property.
Yeah, he's on it. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, we are catching up with the new host of The Soup on E, Jade Catapretta, how the show is really keeping up with the times. Don't go away. Welcome back to DBL, the Classic E Show. The Soup is back with a fresh new twist and a brand new host. I caught up with Jade Catapretta earlier in today's DBL Spotlight.
Love.
It's good. Yeah. I am so excited. We're joined by Jade Catapretta, host of E's The Soup. I grew up watching the show. I think Jade's the perfect host. Thank you so much for coming on DBL. And what's really cool about The Soup is that it's going to have fresh new episodes, a whole new take. So tell us what's new and different this time around.
It's been on the air since '91, and when it first started, it was called Talk Soup because all they really had to pull from was talk shows and daytime talk shows. And now it's The Soup, and we have, you know, social media. We have stuff that's happening in the news. We have a little bit of a bigger universe that we get to pull from. So that's a big difference. We have, you know, experts on different shows now, and we're just trying to, you know, be silly and just have it be a place where people can go and escape a little bit of the caca that's all around us right now.
So yes, and I can't wait to have that type of escapism. Mama needs it. So on The Soup, of course, you're going to be talking pop culture, hilarious TV moments of the week, like you just said, and you've got so much real estate to pick from.
Yay! We're finally going someplace cool. Iowa rocks. We got corn and like butter cows and the world's biggest like strawberry.
So what I want to know, what's been your most memorable moment on the show so far?
Yesterday, we filmed a very special segment with a special someone who's been kind of a driving force for a lot of our clips that we use on the show. So we're really getting finally on a rhythm.
That's exciting. It's really fresh and new. So what I really want to know is if you had ever had a celebrity watch or respond to one of your funny moments shading them. Tell us.
On the promo, I did this little meta thing for people who are really into the Real Housewives where I dressed like Lisa Rinna as Erica Jane. And Lisa actually retweeted one of the things about it, and I was just in my car freaking out like, they don't care and they're just having fun.
You know, imitation is flattering, so hopefully they take it as nothing but a compliment. So you are a true-born comedian from Brazil, and not to mention, The Soup will also be airing in Brazil. So what was that full circle moment like? And also, just curious, how did you get into comedy?
Oh boy, oh my gosh, the trauma circle. Well, I was born in Brazil, São Paulo. When I was 12, I moved to the States. And I think that transition is why probably I do comedy up until now. Hearing my name on the promos in Portuguese when they were like, Jade Cata Preta, that was enough for me. I died right then. But I got into stand-up kind of as a mistake. I came out to LA wanting to be an actor. And then my first gig was at National Lampoon doing some funny stuff like hosting a Tosh.0 type of show. And then I started working at the Comedy Store, and then it was over. Ever since then, I got bit with the bug, the comedy bug. And so it's been about 12 years now that I've been doing stand-up.
I'm so proud of you. You can catch new episodes of The Soup airing Wednesdays on E! We'll be right back. Thanks, Jade.
Bye, thank you.
We all know that movement is like medicine.
Welcome back to DBL. Growing a garden at home is fun and rewarding, but we know not everyone has the space for it. That's why Tori is showing us how to make your own mini herb garden. Yeah, using a shoe rack. Here's this week's DBL home hack presented by American Home Shield.
Hey guys, Tori here for this week's home hack. I'm in the DBL backyard and I'm going to show you how to make a DIY herb garden using an over-the-door shoe rack. It's easy, it's inexpensive, and it adds that little flair, you know, to your backyard. Let's get to it. Okay, so here's what you need. An over-the-door shoe rack. You can get these at Walmart or Target, even the dollar store. Then you want some outdoor potting soil. And of course, you want to pick a few of your favorite herbs: basil, mint, maybe some rosemary if you're feeling feisty. So the first thing you need to do is make drainage holes like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. These are happy holes, drainage holes. You're gonna fill the holes with some potting soil. Now you get to put your herbs in. So here's a little parsley, sage. Of course, you gotta get your chives. Get your chives on. And of course, a little thyme, because we all need time on our hands.
When it comes to your home, American Home Shield Warranty helps cover many things homeowners insurance leaves out. Call American Home Shield at 1-800-919-3629 to get a free quote today.
I do not have a green thumb.
No?
No, my husband makes fun of me. I love plants. I do the best to take care of them. I don't know why that they die, and it makes me so sad.
That is sad.
I know.
Yeah, but you know, we have a garden, so we brought in some fresh tomatoes. We'll get you some jalapenos next.
What?
Yeah.
So you have a green thumb?
My girl does.
Oh.
No, it would be instant death if I touched it.
We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. What do we got, Albert?
Yes, and this is Erica. This woman's going to get your back because, you know how you get when I talk about the Girl Scouts. Larissa says, tell Al to quit dogging the Girl Scouts. Also, grown men do eat snickerdoodles. It's just another cookie. Come on, Al. Just because you don't doesn't mean other people follow your lead. I will say this. We talked in the commercial break. Turns out I had a snickerdoodle. I just didn't know that's what the name of it was.
You don't like the name.
I thought it was, I was associating it with another cookie. So I will back up on that one.
Okay, Erica. Looks like he's backpedaling.
I still don't like Tostier, though. I don't like Tostier.
He's backpedaling, Erica.
What's that look? And also, we have a couple comments. Lori says, did you ladies intentionally wear the same outfits? Go ahead and clear that up for the people.
Honest to God, if we did, we would tell you, because on this show, we literally tell you everything. No, this is a complete surprise. It made me get out of my seat when I saw Eric and I were twins.
It's quite amazing, and
I swear, like, our styles are so different that, like, it honestly, it doesn't normally happen. But you know, when we see something we like, you know, great minds think alike, girl.
Exactly, Erica.
It's a great ad for the dress. It looks great.
Yeah, maybe
Come on,
they'll
Rent the
start to
Runway.
sponsor us. This is Badgley Mishka, Rent the Runway. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Erica. Bye, guys.
Sorry, snickerdoodles.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
We've got the hits and misses from day 2 at the Democratic Convention, with Bill Clinton making his case for Joe Biden.
And you know what Joe Biden will do? Build back better.
Is he the right guy to be speaking at the DNC? In today's True Crime Chronicles, an unbelievable story of redemption as a retired officer catches the men who shot him nearly 50 years ago.
I'm reveling in the fact that I got him.
And is Todd Chrisley aging in reverse? The new selfie that has fans wondering what work he's had done. Is it really just good Botox?
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, August 19th, hump day.
Yes.
How are you, Al?
I feel great, Sam. How are you?
You seem like you feel great.
I'm in good spirits. Went for a nice run this morning.
God, I want what you have.
I feel good.
I want a piece of Al. Eric, don't run with that. Erica, we are in the same outfit.
Stop.
Yes.
This is amazing.
You guys have made it so I look
looking,
weird.
I'm like, are we wearing the same dress?
Erica Cobb, this for first of all, the fact that you and I, Miss Erica, thought to, so Eric and I both rent from a company called Rent the Runway, okay? Just to give you a little behind the scenes inside scoop.
If we don't get an endorsement now.
What the heck? But this is just so, the point that Erica liked this dress and I like this dress just makes me feel hip and cool.
Yeah, kindred spirits.
I know.
Girl, it's so crazy because, so Kiri, our stylist, was like, oh, do you have a short sleeve dress? But I'm like, yeah, I'll wear this one. And that was all I had. So I'm like, all right, cool. Great.
I just got a note from our producer, Michael Dean, that Tori, our other co-host, wore this same exact dress 2 weeks ago. All right.
Hand me down.
All right.
COVID's affecting everybody.
Pandemic problems. I hope this goes viral because just looking at the image right now on the screen is hilarious. I love you, Erica.
Love you.
Okay. All right, let's get to the top of the news. The Democratic convention took care of some business last night. The Dems formally nominated Joe Biden for presidency on day 2 of the convention. This came after a virtual roll call vote, which seemed to resonate surprisingly well. It featured diverse people at picturesque locations from coast to coast and around the world. Dr. Jill Biden delivered her speech from the high school where she used to teach English in the 90s. She said her husband has what it takes to bring us together and make us whole. Meantime, social media was buzzing about former President Bill Clinton. He used his speech to attack the current president. Watch.
If you want a president who defines the job as spending hours a day watching TV and zapping people on social media, he's your man. Denying, distracting, and demeaning works great if you're trying to entertain or inflame. But in a real crisis, it collapses like a house of cards. COVID just doesn't respond to any of that. To beat it, you've got to actually go to work and deal with the facts.
Okay, Erica, my twin, I'm not going to get used to this. Okay, so the fact that Bill Clinton, and I was reading the tweets last night, I was reading just 10 minutes ago what DBL Nation is saying, a lot of you feel like that he did more harm than good. Do you think that Bill Clinton was the right man to lecture about behavior in the Oval Office, Erica?
I think that Bill Clinton was the right man to address, to have the address that he made, simply because we're speaking about someone who has experience in this White House, has experience leading a nation. And what the real message behind all of these speeches are, experience versus experiment, right? Michelle Obama talked about in terms of Trump has had plenty of time to figure this out, and he has not met the task. He's not up to this occasion. When we're talking about experience versus experiment, we also have to bring in Dr. Biden, who also continued in the classroom even when she was serving as second lady. So I think that when we're looking at the grand scheme of things, we're not speaking to people who don't want to be spoken to. We're speaking to people who are either on the fence or already are going to back this campaign and back this ticket. And I think that's exactly who we need to speak to.
Interesting. Do you agree, Al?
I do. You know, Bill Clinton's a polarizing figure. Everybody in politics is an ultra polarizing figure because at this point where we are in our politics, no one that's not polarizing gets elected. I think the days of the kind of robotic Republicans like Bob Dole are gone. The days of the kind of generic Democratic candidate are gone. I think you need to be considered what some people say is extreme when you look at an AOC or you look at a Matt Gaetz. You need people to say inflammatory things to get attention. And look at our president. So I think this is kind of par for the course.
Okay. Listen, I'm still waiting for your comments, Michael Dean. Okay, I have them. This is coming from DBL Nation as we speak in real time. I always want to make sure I bring in your voice. In regard to the convention last night, we have Molly on YouTube. AOC didn't even talk about Joe Biden. What a joke for the DNC. Davis on YouTube. Oh, now we're seeing Republicans switch to Joe Biden's side. What a joke. And then we also have Nelson. Whoa, matching dresses. Love them to bits. Thank you. Listen, I know that we're going to have two sides here because that's just the way it boils down to. Unfortunately, now it becomes so partisan, and I hate that. I wish that we weren't so partisan when it comes to politics, but given that we are how many days until the election, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. I hope that we can remain civil. This was one part that really struck me last night. The security guard, if you guys remember last night, Jacqueline Brittany. So she works at the New York York Times. If you did not see this, this is a security guard at the New York Times. She takes, or escorts rather, many powerful people up that elevator in that New York Times building, whether it be interviews. And she said that Joe Biden really saw her, really spoke to her, really took the time, really tried to understand her and her needs. That means something to me. I'm going to put politics aside, whether you are our current president, whether you are Joe Biden, whether you're Al Jackson or Erica Cobb. I want people who have a conscience. I want people who treat people with empathy, and I want people who see everybody for who they are and hope that they can empower them and uplift them. Some people say that that's me with rose-colored glasses, but
I don't think you said anything that crazy, Sam. I completely agree.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, it is that crazy, because I'll tell you who really benefits from this, benefits from us fighting. Think about like if it is a situation with infidelity. The best situation for that guy is the two women to go at it, because now he's absolved of any responsibility.
Great point.
So as long as we keep going back with these identity politics and things like that, guess what? Everybody's kids are still at home. Guess what? No one's gotten their second stimulus check. Guess what? 80% of the tax cuts went to the 1%, to the 10%. So as long as we're fighting and name calling and talking about taking somebody's guns or abortion, all these kinds of things, we'll continue to live the life that we're living.
I know. I want us to all be in this together somehow. Call me naive. So what is the other side saying about day 2 of the Democratic convention? I just read you some of the comments. Well, here's some of what the Trump campaign said about it last night on their YouTube channel.
I think we have a real problem here for the Democrat Party. They're not enthusiastic. Their programming isn't enthusiastic. They're running on this socialist platform. I mean, they put out young stars like AOC. She's not even talking about Joe Biden. I mean, they have a real problem with their base. They have a real problem with their party, even though they're running further and further to the left.
Okay, Erica, quick comment, because we have some really important stories to get to. What do you think about them saying that the Dems are being too far left?
I think I echo Al Jackson's sentiments. As much as we can go back and forth, it's not going to change the current state of affairs. And if people want something better, then they're going to have to think in terms of longevity in their future.
Well said. Keep the comments coming, DBL Nation. I love hearing what you have to say. So a campaign ad has gone viral. Today, the president is backing the GOP candidate, who you see here. She's 38-year-old Kim Klacik. She's running to fill the seat left vacant by Elijah Cummings. Her viral ad has been viewed more than 250,000 times on Twitter, showing what she calls the real Baltimore. Take a look.
I'm Kim Klacik. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decade?
Okay, so Republicans, their campaign strategy right now is to go to these cities that are democratically run and saying that they are a mess. Do you think it's working, yes or no?
I think it'll work for the people that only look at that ad on the surface level. They're not talking about the policies that made those communities look like that, the redlining that goes on, the removing of tax dollars so that there's the food deserts, the economic deserts, the people that fleeing to the suburbs. This is why that's like that. So I didn't see any solutions. I just saw them highlighting the result of decades long of bad policy.
Yeah, I want solutions too. All right, so we will be right back. Stay tuned.
During the pandemic, we keep hearing the term over and over again, herd immunity, herd immunity. Well, earlier, our medical expert, Dr. Powell Coley, explained what it means to Tori and I. So take a look.
Scientists have been trying to figure out how many people in a community must be immune to the virus before it fades out. This is the idea of herd immunity. It's a little hard to explain, so can you explain it easily for us?
It's a complicated concept, Tori, but we can break it down quite simply. So if no one in society is immune to a disease, the disease or the virus spreads very quickly. On the other hand, if many people in society are immune, it actually slows the spread of the virus, and the virus peters itself out. And so you can be immune to the disease just by being part of a herd, even if you yourself don't have immunity, just because those around you have immunity, and that causes the virus to stop spreading. Yeah.
I heard that.
Oh, I was waiting for that one. But I'm sure you looked at this story at 7 o'clock this morning, like, wait till she hears my herd punch.
Shut up, Val.
All right, so Doc, I have to ask you this, and we've actually gotten this question a million times, so let's get this out there. How would the U.S. achieve herd immunity, and is it possible?
So, Al, there's two ways to achieve herd immunity. The first is people get sick, they recover from the virus, and they have antibodies or immune system response to the virus that then makes them immune from reinfection. The second is vaccination. So people get a vaccination, mount an antibody response, and are then immune from the infection. But in both ways, you have to be immune from the infection in order for herd immunity to work. And enough people in the herd have to have immunity. So that's called a herd immunity threshold. How many people in the herd have to be immune? So for this virus, they had initially calculated that to be about 60 to 70%, but a new paper just came out in the journal Science that says it may be as low as 43% for us to achieve herd immunity. But that's still a lot, so keep in mind that means 43% of the population has to have immunity.
Interesting. All right, well, Sweden, I believe this is right. Sweden tried this. It didn't go perfectly, am I right? Is this a strategy you think works to contain the virus?
No, you're absolutely right. Sweden tried it. It was a failed experiment. And using infection to achieve herd immunity is very dangerous, Tori, for two reasons. Number one, millions of people have to die because you have to get the infection, and some percentage of people will die from the infection.
Wow.
The second is, even if you achieve infection in whatever 60% of the people for herd immunity, those antibodies have to last. And we're seeing studies that show that they can start fading as soon as 1 month after infection. So the best way to achieve herd immunity is really through that vaccine.
Vaccinating. Do you think we can get 43%? Do you, Doc, think we can get 43% of the population to
What would that be, 160 million people, roughly? I'm
going to go with that.
Yeah. So I guess, there's so many people with their own theories, Doc. I wonder, do you feel like there'll be so many people and so many facts that people won't really know where to get their actual information from?
We really have to get that, you guys, because otherwise the vaccine won't even work, because that's how vaccines work, is by achieving herd immunity. So we have to get the word out that that vaccine has to be used in a widespread fashion.
Wow. Thank you again. Wonderful, wonderful information on herd immunity. Terrible, terrible pun. You'll be back tomorrow. If you have a question about coronavirus you want answered by the doc, write us on social media or email info@dailyblastlive.com. We'll be right back.
Do you work?
Welcome back to DBL. A fugitive was on the run for nearly 50 years after shooting a police officer. All these years later, it's a story of redemption. He was finally caught by the same cop who he shot. Here's the update in DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
It was 1971. Daryl Cinquanta was working as a Denver police officer when he was shot in the stomach by Lawrence Pusateri, an escaped convict from California. Lawrence was caught and convicted for the shooting, only for him to escape again. He led police on a nearly 50-year chase until a phone call this summer changed everything.
This person says, I thought about it, and I'm going to tell you where the guy is that shot you.
Daryl, now retired from the Denver Police Department, started his own private investigation firm years ago and never gave up finding the convict who shot him.
And of course, I was skeptical. I mean, 46 years later, now the clear blue, I get a phone call. Well, this person gives me his address, his alias.
With that information, Daryl tracks down a man named Ramon Montoya. He was tied to a drunk driving case and this mugshot. The pieces aligned. That man was Lawrence Pusateri. Lawrence has been living under an alias in Espanola, New Mexico for the past 40 years. Daryl tipped off local police and FBI to the fugitive's home.
They surrounded it with a SWAT unit and they went in and got him.
46 years later, a story of redemption and a full circle moment for Daryl.
I'm reveling in the fact that I got him. And they're going to extradite him back, and I'm going to try to see him.
How wild. Earlier, Jeff and I spoke with a reporter who actually interviewed the retired officer. Take a look. We are joined by investigative reporter Jeremy Hohola from 9 News right here in Denver, Colorado. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you recently spoke with Daryl, the retired detective. He mentioned he wants to sit down and talk to Lawrence. What does he want to tell him all these years later?
Yeah, I know. What do you say to a person who shot you so many decades ago and then you catch them? I asked Daryl that very question. Daryl told me that he would initially commend him for staying under the radar for so long. But then I think he also doesn't really know what he would say to this guy. I think he'd probably come up with that the day they would meet, if they would ever meet.
Jeremy, do we know who the mystery caller was that tipped Daryl off? And was Lawrence's family ever aware he was living under an alias?
So I understand that Daryl, for decades, has been making calls to this man's family for years and to friends. It's unknown who that caller is. Maybe that caller got fed up with Lawrence. Maybe that caller was angry at him and just decided to come out of the blue, as Daryl said in that report, that he was going to turn over his name. As far as his family is concerned, I understand he was living with a wife who was completely oblivious to his past. So this came as a shock to her, from what I understand.
Unbelievable. It's like a horrific, creepy movie. And Jeremy, you previously worked as an investigative reporter in New Mexico. So can you tell us more about where Lawrence was found and how he evaded capture for so long?
So in this part of New Mexico, it's outside of the Santa Fe area. Everybody knows where Santa Fe, New Mexico is. It's kind of in the heart of the state. Outside of Santa Fe, the city of Espanola has been there for a very, very, very long time, since the late 1500s. It's a very old city. It's not a major metropolitan area. The population is about 10,000 people. So you're able to fly under the radar in an area like this, and people generally, keep to themselves in this part of the state. So back then, when this man evaded law enforcement, he was able to fly under the radar and likely create a whole new identity because, the internet really didn't exist back then in its current form. You could create paper documents. Nothing was digitized, so it was much easier to create a false identity, and that's what this guy did for decades.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And Jeremy, thank you so much for your investigative work. To learn more about this case, DBL Nation, you can visit 9news.com. We'll be right back. Thank you, Jeremy. Great seeing you.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. Erica is working from home. Oh my gosh, Erica, I just love seeing this side by side of you and I. Al, we've got comments. What do we got?
We certainly do, Sam. Kathy from Facebook says, love the dresses that Erica and Sam are wearing. Also love your show. Thank you, Kathy. Nelson from Facebook says, wow, matching dresses, love them to bits. I never use that phrase, love something to bits. And Barbara says, ladies, you look awesome. No comments about me so far. And Denise on Facebook says, love that dress with a purple heart.
Yes.
So yeah, I like what you guys are wearing. I think you guys look very cute.
I feel honored that I'm wearing something that Erica Cobb would pick.
Yeah, you guys have like completely synced up.
Girl,
you guys are in
please.
simpatico. I love it.
I'm a cool mom.
Ooh,
Yes.
Cool moms don't say that. You just live
This
that.
never happens.
I know it never happens, Erica. Okay, so if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. Spears versus Spears. Why Britney wants her dad to stay out of her finances, and has reality star Todd Chrisley found the fountain of youth. Wow. DBL's new every day. We will be right back.
About what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. I am Sam here with Al. Erica joining us from home. No need to do a double take. We are wearing the same dress, a little doublemint fun, if you will.
See, I like it though, Sam, because you guys, like, obviously we're all locked down with COVID, but I do like that because you reminded me like Disney World vibes, like when black families go on a family reunion, they all wear the same thing. And you guys are really, you guys say Jackson family, Orlando 2020. That's it.
Oh my God. Now white families do that
Yeah,
too.
I love it. You can find your people. That you guys could never get lost at Disney World.
Oh, Erica, we need to get some Mickey Mouse hats and go to Disney World dressed like this.
I'm here for it.
You know it's your favorite place on earth, Sam. We all know.
Oh, and I miss it. We need COVID to be over with so I can get back there.
Yes.
All right, let's get started. Britney Spears wants to make some changes when it comes to who manages her money. Court documents reveal Britney does not want her dad to be her sole conservator anymore. Jamie Spears was appointed Britney's conservator back in 2008 after she experienced a series of mental breakdowns. Instead, Britney wants her care manager to stay in the role. She was named temporary conservator last year after Jamie stepped down due to health reasons. And Britney's mom also wants a say. In July, Lynn Spears filed documents requesting she be involved in Britney's finances. Wow. Erica, what do you make of this story? What should happen to Britney's finances? Should Jamie permanently step down?
Sam, if I knew the answers to all of that, I likely wouldn't be sitting here in this. I would probably be in an island somewhere. I really do think that Britney Spears is a prime example of someone who has never really seemingly had her say. I mean, she got into this industry so early and she kind of became this machine, and she's a person. And I think at this point, what she wants and what she needs should be honored.
Yeah, and I've dug into this, and listen, I don't know every detail. I'm not a judge. I'm not an attorney. However, I know that conservatorship abuse does happen. It happens more regularly than you and I would like to believe. And many people do speculate that this is exactly what's happening with Britney Spears. She's been under conservatorship of her father, minus this last year, for 12 years. 12 years.
And it's been tumultuous.
So, yeah, and listen, if Jamie has done a great job, then let the judge look into it and say just that. I'm happy that she is allowing herself, a team of people, hopefully unbiased, to go in there and relook at the situation and make sure that she is not in a situation of abuse.
I completely agree. I mean, you look at what she went through in, I believe it was 2006, 2007, and, you know, it didn't look good for Britney. But the team around her rallied, and she's led a very productive, illustrious career since then, which no one saw when we were seeing her shave her head.
Yes.
So that just shows, that goes to show you that with the right care for your mental health and a team around you, you can rebound and rebound in a major way. So I think she's inspiring, and I'm glad that she's advocating for her own mental health. Good on her.
Yeah, we wish her all the best. Well, it turns out that Todd Chrisley knows best when it comes to his face. The reality star showed off a fresh new look on Instagram. Whoa. He looks 10, leaving many wondering if the 51-year-old went under the knife. Todd denied having a facelift or even getting fillers, but when actress Lisa Rinna called him out saying he looked 12, Todd replied, well, thank God for laser, Botox, and prayer. I don't know about prayer. I mean, I respect everybody praying, but I don't think prayer is going to fill up your lines. And
Can we stop? Erica, did you see this nonsense? He looks like a high school bully. Let's be honest. He paid for the give me your lunch money package.
Oh, Doyle rules.
Yeah, really.
Erica.
You know, I looked at it and thought, like, I think all of us have a little bit more fullness in our faces at this point.
Erica, stop running for office. Stop it.
No, I'm being serious. I think that when your face is a little fuller, it gives you a more youthful look. And I do think his face looks fuller. And obviously, he's had some things done. Great. If he's happy, if he likes it, I love it.
Wherever he went, they did a good job, because some people get filler and it doesn't look like that. It looks like they had filler. He looks youthful.
He looks like he's wearing a filter on a Facebook app.
Maybe it is a filter. It could be a filter.
It looks strange. I'm sorry. I'm not commenting on somebody's looks. He looks good. Sam.
He does.
You could get arrested for saying that. That's how young he looks. That's very weird. This is like, it's a weird look. He looks strange. Can we just be honest? That's this show. Sam, look at me.
I actually
Sam,
think
look
he looks
here.
good. I've always been honest with you when people get too much filler.
That's not too much. What do you want him to Benjamin button it all the way to 6 months?
But you can't. It doesn't look like he got filler. He just looks refreshed.
I don't know what he did. Refreshed.
He looks refreshed.
Yeah, if with a time machine, yeah. Looks real good.
He does look a little young.
A little bit.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to get carded. He's 51. He's getting carded. He'll
definitely get carded.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why don't I get carded anymore? Do you get carded?
No.
I don't either.
No.
Erica, do you get carded? I bet Erica gets carded. Do you get carded, Erica? Okay,
occasionally, and it really gets on my husband's nerves because he's actually younger than me.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Okay, get ready to rumba. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Dancing with the Stars is coming back to TV on September 14th. Now, to prevent the spread of COVID-19, all dance pros will have to live separately from each other for the duration of the season. They also can't have any physical interaction at all, including the pros who are married to each other. Whoa. And in other big news, Britt Stewart, from troop member to dance pro, making her the first Black female professional dancer in 29 seasons. Wow. That's
embarrassing.
Really, yeah. I mean, I'm really happy that she's been given this shot, but too little too late, Erica.
29 seasons. What do you think, Cobb?
29 seasons? What?
I mean, the show is called Dancing with the Stars. Dancing. And it took you 29 seasons to get a Black woman on the show. I'm just saying,
Right?
Erica, what would you say to the people that would say, hey, it's better late than never?
I'm happy for Britt. She seems very happy, and she's talked about being on the troop for quite a long time and how she's always felt celebrated and not just for her skin color. I think that is beautiful, and I think this is a really great thing. I just question why it took so long to get diversity on the show, but great. I think it's great.
Yeah. Crazy, 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 crazy. All right, so Ryan Reynolds isn't as rich as he apparently thinks he is. The actor had to do some backpedaling after he sold his aviation American gin for $610 million. Whoa. In an out-of-office message linked to his company's email account, Ryan apologized for telling a long list of people, including wife Blake Lively, to go bleep themselves. Turns out his lawyers informed him what an earnout is and that he's not a George Clooney as he thought. That was a reference to George Clooney's $1 billion sale of his Casamigos tequila back in 2017.
Yeah. So what was on that voicemail?
Listen, I'm sure he was poking fun at himself.
I hope so.
Of course he was.
I mean, he should be embarrassed. $600 million? It's not a billion. Honestly, like, he can't hang with Clooney. He can't.
Albert.
There is a billionaires men's and women's clubs, and he ain't in it. I'm sorry.
Jackson,
Look,
if Albert Jackson ever won the lottery, he claims the first thing he would purchase, thing he would run and go get a gold jumbo jet like Austin Powers.
Yes, I wanted to be too heavy to fly. We're just gonna roll. But I just tell you this: look, there's levels to this. Erica, am I wrong? He's at a good level, but he ain't in the billionaire boys and women's club.
You know, Al, I wish I was qualified to comment on this.
Same. Huh. I wonder if he's going to go get an estate in Lake Como.
Maybe.
Ryan Reynolds, where
It'll
George
be in another
Clooney
neighborhood.
is.
He can't hang.
Oh, please. You can go buy a gorgeous estate in Lake Como for a few
you can get a nice studio.
Al is just hating today. Salty Al is back, everybody. Okay, so a YouTuber has created a machine that shoots masks onto people's faces. Alan Pan from the show Mythbusters The Search built the machine to shoot a mask onto a non-wearer's face. He tested it on a dummy before engaging in human trials.
Oh my goodness.
Watch.
Mask on, point blank, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I got a mask on my face. Oh, I can't breathe on you now. Point blank, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yes, it works.
I give credit to his creativity, but that's assault.
Yeah, definitely.
That's assault. You can't go out on the street and blast a face mask onto people's faces.
I would say it's less harmful than possibly blasting corona in somebody's face. I'll take a mask.
You want someone to blast a mask on your face?
Kind of. I need the views on YouTube.
Erica, what do you make of this?
I just hope that they have plenty of insurance because that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, though.
But Al's volunteering himself. It's very cool.
I'd be down. If he's in Colorado, you can come blast it on my face.
Okay. Wow. All right. Everybody just take a moment, please. Everybody, I know we only have a few people here in the studio, but everyone's snickering.
That was enough.
Yeah.
This will be my last day at Daily Blast Live. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, this one's for you, Al. The Girl Scouts have unveiled a new cookie for 2021. Get a load of the Toast Yay. The French toast-inspired cookie.
Maybe spitball that name a little bit.
Okay, so it's inspired. It's shaped like miniature slices of bread, topped with icing. Due to the pandemic, the Girl Scouts have made it possible to sell the cookies online. But bad news, Al. The Toast Yays are only available in select areas, not here in Colorado. What do you think of the new flavor?
You know, Sam, a lot of people might not know why you're targeting me with this line of questioning. I just question the Girl Scouts and where the money's going, but we're not going to go there. Let's focus on the Toast Yay. First of all,
Toast Yay.
I said Toast Yay.
Okay, I thought you said Toast J.
No, but either way, it's not a great name. Okay, let's keep that 100. And I also think that they're shopping on Cinnamon Toast Crunch the street, and I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch better not let that go down. All right, when you see a competitor, you need to see what's up because I feel like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, they've been running for a long time.
You have not tried this new cookie, Al, so you have no
down.
idea if it tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. One, it's a cereal. Two, this is a cookie. If anybody's going to be upset, Erica, it's going to be Keebler's Snickerdoodle cookies, because that's exactly what a Snickerdoodle cookie is. It's
No
just
grown man has ever eaten a Snickerdoodle.
Erica.
It's never happened.
I'm here for the Girl Scouts. Just let them live.
I know.
You know, on their
Erica,
honor, they will try to serve God and their country.
French
We need this right now.
Do you like French toast?
It's like French toast. Yay!
Oh, I didn't even put that together. Is that what that is?
Yes.
I thought it was like a
Well, what are some of their
shout
other
out to
names,
Kanye.
Patty? We have the
And I heard that they changed the name of the Samoas because it's culturally insensitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Thin Mints. What are some other ones? Isn't there one with a really interesting, like similar? No, isn't there like a diddly do or something?
Diddly do? I don't know about that one. I think you dreamed that and then came to work.
No diddly doos?
No.
Skill wag or something?
Don't, Sam.
Tag along.
Oh,
Tag alongs.
Skill wag. Skill wag. That sounds like an app to teach your dog tricks. Skill wag.
That's good.
That'd be good.
Let's app to teach your dog tricks. Skill wag, patent it right now.
All right.
Before one of DBL Nation jumps on it.
I got intellectual property.
Yeah, he's on it. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, we are catching up with the new host of The Soup on E, Jade Catapretta, how the show is really keeping up with the times. Don't go away.
Tuna casserole.
Welcome back to DBL, the Classic E Show. The Soup is back with a fresh new twist and a brand new host. I caught up with Jade Catapretta earlier in today's DBL Spotlight.
I love.
It's good. Yeah. I am so excited. We're joined by Jade Catapretta, host of E's The Soup. I grew up watching the show. I think Jade's the perfect host. Thank you so much for coming on DBL. And what's really cool about The Soup is that it's going to have fresh new episodes, a whole new take. So tell us what's new and different this time around.
It's been on the air since '91, and when it first started, it was called Talk Soup because all they really had to pull from was talk shows and daytime talk shows. And now it's The Soup, and we have, social media. We have stuff that's happening in the news. We have a little bit of a bigger universe that we get to pull from. So that's a big difference. We have, experts on different shows now, and we're just trying to, be silly and just have it be a place where people can go and escape a little bit of the caca that's all around us right now.
So, yes, and I can't wait to have that type of escapism. Mama needs it. So on The Soup, of course, you're going to be talking pop culture, hilarious TV moments of the week, like you just said, and you've got so much real estate to pick from.
Yay, we're finally going someplace cool. Iowa rocks. We got corn and like butter cows and the world's biggest like strawberry.
So what I want to know, what's been your most memorable moment on the show so far?
Yesterday, we filmed a very special segment with a special someone who's been kind of a driving force for a lot of our clips that we use on the show. So we're really getting finally on a rhythm.
That's exciting. It's really fresh and new. So what I really want to know is if you had ever had a celebrity watch or respond to one of your funny moments shading them. Tell us.
On the promo, I did this little meta thing for people who are really into the Real Housewives where I dressed like Lisa Rinna as Erica Jane. And Lisa actually retweeted one of the things about it, and I was just in my car freaking out like, they don't care and they're just having fun.
You know, imitation is flattering, so hopefully they take it as nothing but a compliment. So you are a true-born comedian from Brazil, and not to mention, The Soup will also be airing in Brazil. So what was that full circle moment like? And also, just curious, how did you get into comedy?
Oh boy, oh my gosh, the trauma circle. Well, I was born in Brazil, São Paulo. When I was 12, I moved to the States. And I think that transition is why probably I do comedy up until now. Hearing my name on the promos in Portuguese when they were like, Já de Cata Preta, that was enough for me. I died right then. But I got into stand-up kind of as a mistake. I came out to LA wanting to be an actor. And then my first gig was at National Lampoon, doing some funny stuff like hosting a Tosh.0 type of show. And then I started working at the Comedy Store, and then it was over. Ever since then, I got bit with the bug, the comedy bug. And so it's been about 12 years now that I've been doing stand-up.
I'm so proud of you. You can catch new episodes of The Soup airing Wednesdays on E! We'll be right back. Thanks, Jade.
Bye, thank you.
We all know that movement is like
Welcome back to DBL. Growing a garden at home is fun and rewarding, but we know not everyone has the space for it. That's why Tori is showing us how to make your own mini herb garden. Yeah, using a shoe rack. Here's this week's DBL Home Hack presented by American Home Shield.
Hey guys, Tori here for this week's home hack. I'm in the DBL backyard and I'm going to show you how to make a DIY herb garden using an over-the-door shoe rack. It's easy, it's inexpensive, and it adds that little flair, you know, to your backyard. Let's get to it.
Okay, so here's what you need. An over-the-door shoe rack. You can get these at Walmart or Target, even the dollar store. Then you want some outdoor potting soil. And of course, you want to pick a few of your favorite herbs. Basil, mint, maybe some rosemary if you're feeling feisty.
So the first thing you need to do is make drainage holes like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. These are happy holes, drainage holes. You're gonna fill the holes with some potting soil. Now you get to put your herbs in. So here's a little parsley, sage. Of course, you gotta get your chives. Get your chives on. And of course, a little thyme, because we all need time on our hands.
When it comes to your home, American Home Shield Warranty helps cover many things homeowners insurance leaves out. Call American Home Shield at 1-800-919-3629 to get a free quote today.
I do not have a green thumb.
No?
No, my husband makes fun of me. I love plants. I do the best to take care of them. I don't know why that they die, and it makes me so sad.
That is sad.
I know.
Yeah, but you know, we have a garden, so we brought in some fresh tomatoes. We'll get you some jalapenos next.
What?
Yeah.
So you have a green thumb?
My girl does.
Okay.
No, it would be instant death if I touched it.
We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. What do we got, Albert?
Yes, and this is Erica. This woman's going to get your back because, you know how you get when I talk about the Girl Scouts. Larissa says, tell Al to quit dogging the Girl Scouts. Also, grown men do eat snickerdoodles. It's just another cookie. Come on, Al. Just because you don't doesn't mean other people follow your lead. I will say this. We talked in the commercial break. Turns out I had a snickerdoodle. I just didn't know that's what the name of it was.
You don't like the name.
I thought it was, I was associating it with another cookie. So I will back up on that one.
Okay, Erica. Looks like he's backpedaling.
I still don't like Toastier, though. I don't like Toastier.
He's backpedaling, Erica.
What's that look? And also, we have a couple comments. Lori says, did you ladies intentionally wear the same outfits? Go ahead and clear that up for the people.
Honest to God, if we did, we would tell you, because on this show, we literally tell you everything. No, this is a complete surprise. It made me get out of my seat when I saw Eric and I were twins.
It's quite amazing, and
I swear, like, our styles are so different that, like, it honestly, it doesn't normally happen. But you know, when we see something we like, you know, great minds think alike, girl.
Exactly, Erica.
It's a great ad for the dress. It looks great.
Yeah, maybe
Come on,
they'll
Rent the
start to
Runway.
sponsor us. This is Badgley Mishka, Rent the Runway. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Erica. Bye, guys.
Sorry, snickerdoodles.
About today on Daily Blast Live.
We've got the hits and misses from day 2 at the Democratic Convention, with Bill Clinton making his case for Joe Biden.
And you know what Joe Biden will do? Build back better.
Is he the right guy to be speaking at the DNC? In today's True Crime Chronicles, an unbelievable story of redemption as a retired officer catches the man who shot him nearly 50 years ago.
I'm reveling in the fact that I got him.
And is Todd Chrisley aging in reverse? The new selfie that has fans wondering what work he's had done. Is it really just good Botox?
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, August 19th, hump day.
Yes.
How are you, Al?
I feel great, Sam. How are you?
You seem like you feel great.
I'm in good spirits. Went for a nice run this morning.
God, I want what you have.
I feel good.
I want a piece of Al. Eric, don't run with that. Erica, we are in the same outfit.
Stop.
Yes.
This is amazing.
You guys have made it so I look weird.
I'm like, are we wearing the same dress?
Erica Cobb, this, first of all, the fact that you and I, Miss Erica, thought to, so Eric and I both rent from a company called Rent the Runway, okay? Just to give you a little behind the scenes inside scoop.
If we don't get an endorsement now.
What the heck? But this is just so, the point that Erica liked this dress and I like this dress just makes me feel hip and cool.
Yeah, kindred spirits.
I know.
Girl, it's so crazy because, so Kiri, our stylist, was like, oh, do you have a short sleeve dress? But I'm like, yeah, I'll wear this one. And that was all I had. So I'm like, all right, cool. Great.
I just got a note from our producer, Michael Dean, that Tori, our other co-host, wore this same exact dress 2 weeks ago. All right.
Hand me down.
All right.
COVID's affecting everybody.
Pandemic problems. I hope this goes viral because just looking at the image right now on the screen is hilarious. I love you, Erica.
Love you.
Okay. All right, let's get to the top of the news. The Democratic convention took care of some business last night. The Dems formally nominated Joe Biden for presidency on day 2 of the convention. This came after a virtual roll call vote, which seemed to resonate surprisingly well. It featured diverse people at picturesque locations from coast to coast and around the world. Dr. Jill Biden delivered her speech from the high school where she used to teach English in the 90s. She said her husband has what it takes to bring us together and make us whole. Meantime, social media was buzzing about former President Bill Clinton. He used his speech to attack the current president. Watch.
If you want a president who defines the job as spending hours a day watching TV and zapping people on social media, he's your man. Denying, distracting, and demeaning works great if you're trying to entertain or inflame. But in a real crisis, it collapses like a house of cards. COVID just doesn't respond to any of that. To beat it, you've got to actually go to work and deal with the facts.
Okay, Erica, my twin, I'm not going to get used to this. Okay, so the fact that Bill Clinton, and I was reading the tweets last night, I was reading just 10 minutes ago what DBL Nation is saying, a lot of you feel like that he did more harm than good. Do you think that Bill Clinton was the right man to lecture about behavior in the Oval Office, Erica?
I think that Bill Clinton was the right man to address, to have the address that he made, simply because we're speaking about someone who has experience in this White House, has experience leading a nation. And what the real message behind all of these speeches are, experience versus experiment, right? Michelle Obama talked about in terms of Trump has had plenty of time to figure this out, and he has not met the task. He's not up to this occasion. When we're talking about experience versus experiment, we also have to bring in Dr. Biden, who also continued in the classroom even when she was serving as second lady. So I think that when we're looking at the grand scheme of things, we're not speaking to people who don't want to be spoken to. We're speaking to people who are either on the fence or already are going to back this campaign and back this ticket. And I think that's exactly who we need to speak to.
Interesting. Do you agree, Al?
I do. You know, Bill Clinton's a polarizing figure. Everybody in politics is an ultra polarizing figure because at this point where we are in our politics, no one that's not polarizing gets elected. I think the days of the kind of robotic Republicans like Bob Dole are gone. The days of the kind of generic Democratic candidate are gone. I think you need to be considered what some people say is extreme when you look at an AOC or you look at a Matt Gaetz. You need people to say inflammatory things to get attention. And look at our president. So I think this is kind of par for the course.
Okay. Listen, I'm still waiting for your comments, Michael Dean. Okay, I have them. This is coming from DBL Nation as we speak in real time. I always want to make sure I bring in your voice. In regard to the convention last night, we have Molly on YouTube. AOC didn't even talk about Joe Biden. What a joke for the DNC. Davis on YouTube. Oh, now we're seeing Republicans switch to Joe Biden's side. What a joke. And then we also have Nelson. Whoa, matching dresses. Love them to bits. Thank you. Listen, I know that we're going to have two sides here because that's just the way it boils down to. Unfortunately, now it becomes so partisan, and I hate that. I wish that we weren't so partisan when it comes to politics, but given that we are how many days until the election, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. I hope that we can remain civil. This was one part that really struck me last night. The security guard, if you guys remember last night, Jacqueline Brittany. So she works at the New York Times. If you did not see this, this is a security guard at the New York Times. She takes, or escorts rather, many powerful people up that elevator in that New York Times building, whether it be interviews. And she said that Joe Biden really saw her, really spoke to her, really took the time, really tried to understand her and her needs. That means something to me. I'm going to put politics aside, whether you are a current president, whether you are Joe Biden, whether you're Al Jackson or Erica Cobb. I want people who have a conscience. I want people who treat people with empathy, and I want people who see everybody for who they are and hope that they can empower them and uplift them. Some people say that that's me with rose-colored glasses, but
I don't think you said anything that crazy, Sam. I completely agree.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, it is that crazy, because I'll tell you who really benefits from this, benefits from us fighting. Think about like if it is a situation with infidelity. The best situation for that guy is the two women to go at it, because now he's absolved of any responsibility.
Great point.
So as long as we keep going back with these identity politics and things like that, guess what? Everybody's kids are still at home. Guess what? No one's gotten their second stimulus check. Guess what? 80% of the tax cuts went to the 1%, to the 10%. So as long as we're fighting and name calling and talking about taking somebody's guns or abortion, all these kinds of things, we'll continue to live the life that we're living.
I know. I want us to all be in this together somehow. Call me naive. So what is the other side saying about day 2 of the Democratic convention? I just read you some of the comments. Well, here's some of what the Trump campaign said about it last night on their YouTube channel.
I think we have a real problem here for the Democrat Party. They're not enthusiastic. Their programming isn't enthusiastic. They're running on this socialist platform. I mean, they put out young stars like AOC. She's not even talking about Joe Biden. I mean, they have a real problem with their base. They have a real problem with their party, even though they're running further and further to the left.
Okay, Erica, quick comment, because we have some really important stories to get to. What do you think about them saying that the Dems are being too far left?
I think I echo Al Jackson's sentiments. As much as we can go back and forth, it's not going to change the current state of affairs. And if people want something better, then they're going to have to think in terms of longevity in their future.
Well said. Keep the comments coming, DBL Nation. I love hearing what you have to say. So a campaign ad has gone viral. Today, the president is backing the GOP candidate who you see here. She's 38-year-old Kim Klacik. She's running to fill the seat left vacant by Elijah Cummings. Her viral ad has been viewed more than 250,000 times on Twitter, showing what she calls the real Baltimore. Take a look.
I'm Kim Klacik. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decade?
Okay, so Republicans, their campaign strategy right now is to go to these cities that are democratically run and saying that they are a mess. Do you think it's working, yes or no?
I think it'll work for the people that only look at that ad on the surface level. They're not talking about the policies that made those communities look like that, the redlining that goes on, the removing of tax dollars so that there's the food deserts, the economic deserts, the people, the fleeing to the suburbs. This is why that's like that. So I didn't see any solutions. I just saw them highlighting the result of decades long of bad policy.
Yeah, I want solutions too. All right, so we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to DBL. During the pandemic, we keep hearing the term over and over again, herd immunity, herd immunity. Well, earlier, our medical expert, Dr. Powell Coley, explained what it means to Tori and I. So take a look.
Scientists have been trying to figure out how many people in a community must be immune to the virus before it fades out. This is the idea of herd immunity. It's a little hard to explain, so can you explain it easily for us?
It's a complicated concept, Tori, but we can break it down quite simply. So if no one in society is immune to a disease, the disease or the virus spreads very quickly. On the other hand, if many people in society are immune, it actually slows the spread of the virus, and the virus peters itself out. And so you can be immune to the disease just by being part of a herd, even if you yourself don't have immunity, just because those around you have immunity, and that causes the virus to stop spreading. Yeah.
I heard that.
Oh, I was waiting for that one. But I mean, I'm sure you looked at this story at 7 o'clock this morning, like, wait till she hears my herd punch.
Shut up, Val.
All right, so Doc, I have to ask you this, and we've actually gotten this question a million times, so let's get this out there. How would the U.S. achieve herd immunity, and is it possible?
So, Al, there's two ways to achieve herd immunity. The first is people get sick, they recover from the virus, and they have antibodies or immune system response to the virus that then makes them immune from reinfection. The second is vaccination. So people get a vaccination, mount an antibody response, and are then immune from the infection. But in both ways, you have to be immune from the infection in order for herd immunity to work. And enough people in the herd have to have immunity. So that's called a herd immunity threshold. How many people in the herd have to be immune? So for this virus, they had initially calculated that to be about 60 to 70%, but a new paper just came out in the journal Science that says it may be as low as 43% for us to achieve herd immunity. But that's still a lot, so keep in mind that means 43% of the population has to have immunity.
Interesting. All right, well, Sweden, I believe this is right. Sweden tried this. It didn't go perfectly, am I right? Is this a strategy you think works to contain the virus?
No, you're absolutely right. Sweden tried it. It was a failed experiment. And using infection to achieve herd immunity is very dangerous, Tori, for two reasons. Number one, millions of people have to die because you have to get the infection, and some percentage of people will die from the infection.
Wow.
The second is, even if you achieve infection in whatever 60% of the people for herd immunity, those antibodies have to last. And we're seeing studies that show that they can start fading as soon as 1 month after infection. So the best way to achieve herd immunity is really through that vaccine.
Vaccinating. Do you think we can get 43%? Do you, Doc, think we can get 43% of the population to
What would that be, 160 million people, roughly?
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, there's so many people with their own theories, Doc. I mean, I wonder, do you feel like there'll be so many people and so many facts that people won't really know where to get their actual information from?
We really have to get that, you guys, because otherwise the vaccine won't even work, because that's how vaccines work, is by achieving herd immunity. So we have to get the word out that that vaccine has to be used in a widespread fashion.
Wow. Thank you again. Wonderful, wonderful information on herd immunity. Terrible, terrible pun. You'll be back tomorrow. If you have a question about coronavirus you want answered by the doc, write us on social media or email info@dailyblastlive.com. We'll be right back.
Do you work?
Welcome back to DBL. A fugitive was on the run for nearly 50 years after shooting a police officer. All these years later, it's a story of redemption. He was finally caught by the same cop who he shot. Here's the update in DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
It was 1971. Darrell Cinquanta was working as a Denver police officer when he was shot in the stomach by Lawrence Pusateri, an escaped convict from California. Lawrence was caught and convicted for the shooting, only for him to escape again. He led police on a nearly 50-year chase until a phone call this summer changed everything.
This person says, I thought about it, and I'm going to tell you where the guy is that shot you.
Darrell, now retired from the Denver Police Department, started his own private investigation firm years ago and never gave up finding the convict who shot him.
And of course, I was skeptical. I mean, 46 years later, now the clear blue, I get a phone call. Well, this person gives me his address, his alias.
With that information, Darrell tracks down a man named Ramon Montoya. He was tied to a drunk driving case and this mugshot. The pieces aligned. That man was Lawrence Pusateri. Lawrence has been living under an alias in Espanola, New Mexico for the past 40 years. Darrell tipped off local police and FBI to the fugitive's home.
They surrounded it with a SWAT unit and they went in and got him.
46 years later, a story of redemption and a full circle moment for Darrell.
I'm reveling in the fact that I got him. And they're going to extradite him back, and I'm going to try to see him.
How wild. Earlier, Jeff and I spoke with a reporter who actually interviewed the retired officer. Take a look. We are joined by investigative reporter Jeremy Hohola from 9 News right here in Denver, Colorado. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you recently spoke with Darrell, the retired detective. He mentioned he wants to sit down and talk to Lawrence. What does he want to tell him all these years later?
Yeah, I know. What do you say to a person who shot you so many decades ago and then you catch them? I asked Darrell that very question. Darrell told me that he would initially commend him for staying under the radar for so long. But then I think he also doesn't really know what he would say to this guy. I think he'd probably come up with that the day they would meet, if they would ever meet.
Jeremy, do we know who the mystery caller was that tipped Darrell off? And was Lawrence's family ever aware he was living under an alias?
So I understand that Darrell, for decades, has been making calls to this man's family for years and to friends. It's unknown who that caller is. Maybe that caller got fed up with Lawrence. Maybe that caller was angry at him and just decided to come out of the blue, as Darrell said in that report, that he was going to turn over his name. As far as his family is concerned, I understand he was living with a wife who was completely oblivious to his past. So this came as a shock to her, from what I understand.
Unbelievable. It's like a horrific, creepy movie. And Jeremy, you previously worked as an investigative reporter in New Mexico. So can you tell us more about where Lawrence was found and how he evaded capture for so long?
So in this part of New Mexico, it's outside of the Santa Fe area. Everybody knows where Santa Fe, New Mexico is. It's kind of in the heart of the state. Outside of Santa Fe, the city of Espanola has been there for a very, very, very long time, since the late 1500s. It's a very old city. It's not a major metropolitan area. The population is about 10,000 people. So you're able to fly under the radar in an area like this, and people generally, keep to themselves in this part of the state. So back then, when this man evaded law enforcement, he was able to fly under the radar and likely create a whole new identity because, the internet really didn't exist back then in its current form. You could create paper documents. Nothing was digitized. So it was much easier to create a false identity. And that's what this guy did for decades.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And Jeremy, thank you so much for your investigative work. To learn more about this case, DBL Nation, you can visit 9news.com. We'll be right back. Thank you, Jeremy. Great seeing you. Welcome back to DBL. Erica is working from home. Oh my gosh, Erica, I just love seeing this side by side of you and I. Al, we've got comments. What do we got?
We certainly do, Sam. Kathy from Facebook says, love the dresses that Erica and Sam are wearing. Also love your show. Thank you, Kathy. Nelson from Facebook says, wow, matching dresses, love them to bits. I never use that phrase, love something to bits. And Barbara says, ladies, you look awesome. No comments about me so far. And Denise on Facebook says, love that dress with a purple heart.
Yes.
So yeah, I like what you guys are wearing. I think you guys look very cute.
I feel honored that I'm wearing something that Erica Cobb would pick.
Yeah, you guys have like completely synced up.
Girl,
you guys are
please.
in simpatico. I love it.
I'm a cool mom.
Ooh,
Yes.
Cool moms don't say that. You just live
This
that.
never happens.
I know it never happens, Erica. Okay, so if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. Spears versus Spears. Why Britney wants her dad to stay out of her finances, and has reality star Todd Chrisley found the fountain of youth. Wow. DBL's new every day. We will be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. I am Sam here with Al. Erica joining us from home. No need to do a double take. We are wearing the same dress, a little doublemint fun, if you will.
See, I like it though, Sam, because you guys, like, obviously we're all locked down with COVID, but I do like that because you reminded me like Disney World vibes, like when black families go on a family reunion, they all wear the same thing. And you guys are really, you guys say Jackson family, Orlando 2020. That's it.
Oh my God. Now white families do that
Yeah,
too.
I love it. You can find your people. You guys could never get lost at Disney World.
Oh, Erica, we need to get some Mickey Mouse hats and go to Disney World dressed like this.
I'm here for it.
You know it's your favorite place on earth, Sam. We all know.
Oh, and I miss it. We need COVID to be over with so I can get back there.
Yes.
All right, let's get started. Britney Spears wants to make some changes when it comes to who manages her money. Court documents reveal Britney does not want her dad to be her sole conservator anymore. Jamie Spears was appointed Britney's conservator back in 2008 after she experienced a series of mental breakdowns. Instead, Britney wants her care manager to stay in the role. She was named temporary conservator last year after Jamie stepped down due to health reasons. And Britney's mom also wants to say in July, Lynn Spears filed documents requesting she be involved in Britney's finances. Wow. Erica, what do you make of this story? What should happen to Britney's finances? Should Jamie permanently step down?
Sam, If I knew the answers to all of that, I likely wouldn't be sitting here in this. I would probably be in an island somewhere. I really do think that Britney Spears is a prime example of someone who has never really seemingly had her say. I mean, she got into this industry so early and she kind of became this machine, and she's a person. And I think at this point, what she wants and what she needs should be honored.
Yeah, and I've dug into this, and listen, I don't know every detail. I'm not a judge. I'm not an attorney. However, I know that conservatorship abuse does happen. It happens more regularly than you and I would like to believe. And many people do speculate that this is exactly what's happening with Britney Spears. She's been under conservatorship of her father, minus this last year, for 12 years. 12 years.
And it's been tumultuous.
So, yeah, and listen, if Jamie has done a great job, then let the judge look into it and say just that. I'm happy that she is allowing herself, a team of people, hopefully unbiased, to go in there and relook at the situation and make sure that she is not in a situation of abuse.
I completely agree. I mean, you look at what she went through in, I believe it was 2006, 2007, and, you know, it didn't look good for Britney. But the team around her rallied, and she's led a very productive, illustrious career since then, which no one saw when we were seeing her shave her head.
Yes.
So that just shows, that goes to show you that with the right care for your mental health and a team around you, you can rebound and rebound in a major way. So I think she's inspiring, and I'm glad that she's advocating for her own mental health. Good on her.
Yeah, we wish her all the best. Well, it turns out that Todd Chrisley knows best when it comes to his face. The reality star showed off a fresh new look on Instagram. Whoa. He looks 10, leaving many wondering if the 51-year-old went under the knife. Todd denied having a facelift or even getting fillers, but when actress Lisa Rinna called him out saying he looked 12, Todd replied, well, thank God for laser, Botox, and prayer. I don't know about prayer. I mean, I respect everybody praying, but I don't think prayer is going to fill up your lines. And
Can we stop? Erica, did you see this nonsense? He looks like a high school bully. Let's be honest. He paid for the give me your lunch money package.
Oh, Doyle rules.
Yeah, really.
Erica.
You know, I looked at it and thought, like, I think all of us have a little bit more fullness in our faces at this point.
Erica, stop running for office. Stop it.
No, I'm being serious. I think that when your face is a little fuller, it gives you a more youthful look. And I do think his face looks fuller. And obviously, he's had some things done. Great. If he's happy, if he likes it, I love it.
Wherever he went, they did a good job, because some people get filler and it doesn't look like that. It looks like they had filler. He looks youthful.
He looks like he's wearing a filter on a Facebook app.
Maybe it is a filter. It could be a filter.
It looks strange. I'm sorry. I'm not commenting on somebody's looks. He looks good. Sam.
He does.
You could get arrested for saying that. That's how young he looks. That's very weird. This is like, it's a weird look. He looks strange. Can we just be honest? That's the show. Sam, look at me.
I actually
Sam,
think
look
he looks
here.
good. I've always been honest with you when people get too much filler.
That's not too much. What do you want to Benjamin button it all the way to 6 months?
But you can't. It doesn't look like he got filler. He just looks refreshed.
I don't know what he did. Refreshed.
He looks refreshed.
Yeah, with a time machine, yeah. Looks real good.
He does look a little young.
A little bit.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to get carded. He's 51. He's getting carded
definitely
left
get carded.
and right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why don't I get carded anymore? Do you get carded?
No.
I don't either.
No.
Erica, do you get carded? I bet Erica gets carded. Do you get carded, Erica? Okay,
occasionally,
stop.
and it really gets on my husband's nerves because he's actually younger than me.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Okay, get ready to rumba. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Dancing with the Stars is coming back to TV on September 14th. Now, to prevent the spread of COVID-19, all dance pros will have to live separately from each other for the duration of the season. They also can't have any physical interaction at all, including the pros who are married to each other. Whoa. And in other big news, Britt Stewart, from troupe member to dance pro, making her the first Black female professional dancer in 29 seasons. Wow. That's
embarrassing.
Really, yeah. I mean, I'm really happy that she's been given this shot, but too little too late, Erica.
29 seasons. What do you think, Cobb?
29 seasons? What?
I mean, the show is called Dancing with the Stars. Dancing. And it took you 29 seasons to get a Black woman on the show. I'm just saying,
Right?
Erica, what would you say to the people that would say, hey, it's better late than never?
I'm happy for Britt. She seems very happy, and she's talked about being on the troop for quite a long time and how she's always felt celebrated and not just for her skin color. I think that is beautiful, and I think this is a really great thing. I just question why it took so long to get diversity on the show, but great. I think it's great.
Yeah. Crazy, 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 crazy. All right, so Ryan Reynolds isn't as rich as he apparently thinks he is. The actor had to do some backpedaling after he sold his Aviation American gin for $610 million. Whoa. In an out-of-office message linked to his company's email account, Ryan apologized for telling a long list of people, including wife Blake Lively, to go bleep themselves. Turns out his lawyers informed him what an earnout is and that he's not a George Clooney as he thought. That was a reference to George Clooney's $1 billion sale of his Casamigos tequila back in 2017.
Yeah. So what was on that voicemail?
Listen, I'm sure he was poking fun at himself.
I hope so.
Of course he was.
I mean, he should be embarrassed. $600 million? It's not a billion. Honestly, like, he can't hang with Clooney. He can't.
Albert.
There is a billionaires men's and women's clubs, and he ain't in it. I'm sorry.
Jackson,
Look,
if Albert Jackson ever won the lottery, he claims the first thing he would purchase, thing he would run and go get a gold jumbo jet like Austin Powers.
Yes, I wanted it to be too heavy to fly. We're just gonna roll. But I just tell you this: look, there's levels to this. Eric, am I wrong? He's at a good level, but he ain't in the billionaire boys and women's club.
You know, Al, I wish I was qualified to comment on this.
Same. Huh. I wonder if he's going to go get an estate in Lake Como.
Maybe.
Ryan Reynolds,
It'll
George
be in another
Clooney
neighborhood. He can't hang.
Oh, please. You can go buy a gorgeous estate in Lake Como for a few
you can get a nice studio.
Al is just hating today. Salty Al is back, everybody. Okay, so a YouTuber has created a machine that shoots masks onto people's faces. Alan Pan from the show Mythbusters The Search built the machine to shoot a mask onto a non-wearer's face. He tested it on a dummy before engaging in human trials.
Oh my goodness.
Watch.
Mask on, point blank, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I got a mask on my face. Oh, I can't breathe on you now. Point blank, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yes, it works.
I give credit to his creativity, but that's assault.
Yeah, definitely.
That's assault. You can't go out on the street and blast a face mask onto people's faces.
I would say it's less harmful than possibly blasting Corona in somebody's face. I'll take a mask.
You want someone to blast a mask on your face?
Kind of. I need the views on YouTube.
Erica, what do you make of this?
I just hope that they have plenty of insurance because that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
It was cool, though.
But Al's volunteering himself. It's very cool.
I'd be down. If he's in Colorado, he can come blast it on my face.
Okay. Wow. All right. Everybody just take a moment, please. Everybody, I know we only have a few people here in the studio, but everyone's snickering.
That was enough.
Yeah.
This will be my last day at Daily Blast Live. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, this one's for you, Al. The Girl Scouts have unveiled a new cookie for 2021. Get a load of the Toast Yay. The French toast-inspired cookie.
Maybe spitball that name a little bit.
Okay, so it's inspired. It's shaped like miniature slices of bread, topped with icing. Due to the pandemic, the Girl Scouts have made it possible to sell the cookies online. But bad news, Al. The Toast Yays are only available in select areas, not here in Colorado. What do you think of the new flavor?
You know, Sam, a lot of people might not know why you're targeting me with this line of questioning. I just question the Girl Scouts and where the money's going, but we're not going to go there. Let's focus on the Toast Yay. First of all,
Toast Yay.
I said Toast Yay.
Okay, I thought you said Toast J.
No, but either way, it's not a great name. Okay, let's keep that 100. And I also think that they're shopping on Cinnamon Toast Crunch's street, and I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch better not let that go down. All right, when you see a competitor, you need to see what's up because I feel like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, they've been running for a long time.
You have not tried this new cookie, Al, so you have no idea if it tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. One, it's a cereal. Two, this is a cookie. If anybody's going to be upset, Erica, it's going to be Keebler's Snickerdoodle cookies, because that's exactly what a Snickerdoodle cookie is. It's
no
just not
grown man has ever eaten a Snickerdoodle.
Erica?
Never happened.
I I'm here for the Girl Scouts. Just let them live.
I know.
You know, on their
Erica,
honor,
is it
they
a
will
good
try
name?
to serve God and
do
their
you like
country.
French
We need
toast
this right now.
Do you like French toast?
It's like French toast. Yay!
Oh, I didn't even put that together. Is that what that is?
Yes.
I thought it was like a
Well, what are some of their
shout
other
out to
names,
Kanye.
Patty? We have the
And I heard that they changed the name of the Samoas because it's culturally insensitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Thin Mints. What are some other ones? Isn't there one with a really interesting, like similar? No, isn't there like a diddly do or something?
Diddly do? I don't know about that one. I think you dreamed that and then came to work.
No diddly doos?
No.
Skill wag or something?
Don't, Sam.
Tag along.
Oh,
Tag alongs.
Skill wag. Skill wag. That sounds like an app to teach your dog tricks. Skill wag.
That's good.
That'd be good.
An app to teach your dog tricks. Skill wag, patent it right now.
All right.
Before one of DBL Nation jumps on it.
I got
Don't you
intellectual
dare.
property.
Yeah, he's on it. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, we are catching up with the new host of The Soup on E, Jade Catapretta, how the show is really keeping up with the times. Don't go away. Welcome back to DBL, the Classic E Show. The Soup is back with a fresh new twist and a brand new host. I caught up with Jade Catapretta earlier in today's DBL Spotlight.
Love.
It's good. Yeah. I am so excited. We're joined by Jade Catapretta, host of E's The Soup. I grew up watching the show. I think Jade's the perfect host. Thank you so much for coming on DBL. And what's really cool about The Soup is that it's going to have fresh new episodes, a whole new take. So tell us what's new and different this time around.
It's been on the air since '91, and when it first started, it was called Talk Soup because all they really had to pull from was talk shows and daytime talk shows. And now it's The Soup, and we have, social media. We have stuff that's happening in the news. We have a little bit of a bigger universe that we get to pull from. So that's a big difference. We have, experts on different shows now, and we're just trying to, be silly and just have it be a place where people can go and escape a little bit of the caca that's all around us right now.
So, yes, and I can't wait to have that type of escapism. Mama needs it. So on The Soup, of course, you're going to be talking pop culture, hilarious TV moments of the week, like you just said, and you've got so much real estate to pick from.
Yay, we're finally going someplace cool. Iowa rocks. We got corn and like butter cows and the world's biggest like strawberry.
So what I want to know, what's been your most memorable moment on the show so far?
Yesterday, we filmed a very special segment with a special someone who's been kind of a driving force for a lot of our clips that we use on the show. So we're really getting finally on a rhythm.
That's exciting. It's really fresh and new. So what I really want to know is if you had ever had a celebrity watch or respond to one of your funny moments shading them. Tell us.
On the promo, I did this little meta thing for people who are really into the Real Housewives where I dressed like Lisa Rinna as Erica Jane. And Lisa actually retweeted one of the things about it, and I was just in my car freaking out like, they don't care and they're just having fun.
You know, imitation is flattering, so hopefully they take it as nothing but a compliment. So you are a true-born comedian from Brazil, and not to mention, The Soup will also be airing in Brazil. So what was that full circle moment like? And also, just curious, how did you get into comedy?
Oh boy, oh my gosh, the trauma circle. Well, I was born in Brazil, São Paulo, when I was 12. I moved to the States, and I think that transition is why probably I do comedy up until now. Hearing my name on the promos in Portuguese when they were like, Jade Cata Preta, that was enough for me. I died right then. But I got into stand-up kind of as a mistake. I came out to LA wanting to be an actor, and then my first gig was at National Lampoon doing some funny stuff like hosting a Tosh.0 type of show. And then I started working at the Comedy Store, and then it was over. Ever since then, I got bit with the bug, the comedy bug, and so it's been about 12 years now that I've been doing stand-up.
I'm so proud of you. You can catch new episodes of The Soup airing Wednesdays on E! We'll be right back. Thanks, Jade.
Bye, thank you.
Welcome back to DBL. Growing a garden at home is fun and rewarding, but we know not everyone has the space for it. That's why Tori is showing us how to make your own mini herb garden. Yeah, using a shoe rack. Here's this week's DBL Home Hack presented by American Home Shield.
Hey guys, Tori here for this week's home hack. I'm in the DBL backyard and I'm gonna show you how to make a DIY herb garden using an over-the-door shoe rack. It's easy, it's inexpensive, and it adds that little flair, you know, to your backyard. Let's get to it.
Okay, so here's what you need. An over-the-door shoe rack. You can get these at Walmart or Target, even the dollar store. Then you want some outdoor potting soil. And of course, you want to pick a few of your favorite herbs. Basil, mint, maybe some rosemary if you're feeling feisty.
So the first thing you need to do is make drainage holes like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. These are happy holes, drainage holes. You're gonna fill the holes with some potting soil. Now you get to put your herbs in. So here's a little parsley, sage. Of course, you gotta get your chives. Get your chives on. And of course, a little thyme, because we all need time on our hands.
When it comes to your home, American Home Shield Warranty helps cover many things homeowners insurance leaves out. Call American Home Shield at 1-800-919-3629 to get a free quote today.
I do not have a green thumb.
No?
No, my husband makes fun of me. I love plants. I do the best to take care of them. I don't know why that they die, and it makes me so sad.
That is sad.
I know.
Yeah, but you know, we have a garden, so we brought in some fresh tomatoes. We'll get you some jalapenos next.
What?
Yeah.
So you have a green thumb?
My girl does.
Oh.
No, it would be instant death if I touched it.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. What do we got, Albert?
Yes, and this is Erica. This woman's going to get your back because, you know how you get when I talk about the Girl Scouts. Larissa says, tell Al to quit dogging the Girl Scouts. Also, grown men do eat snickerdoodles. It's just another cookie. Come on, Al. Just because you don't doesn't mean other people follow your lead. I will say this. We talked in the commercial break. Turns out I had a snickerdoodle. I just didn't know that's what the name of it was.
You don't like the name.
I thought it was, I was associating it with another cookie. So I will back up on that one.
Okay, Erica. Looks like he's backpedaling.
I still don't like Tostier, though. I don't like Tostier.
He's backpedaling, Erica.
What's that look? And also, we have a couple comments. Lori says, did you ladies intentionally wear the same outfits? Go ahead and clear that up for the people.
Honest to God, if we did, we would tell you, because on this show, we literally tell you everything. No, this is a complete surprise. It made me get out of my seat when I saw Eric and I were twins.
It's quite amazing, and
I swear, like, our styles are so different that, like, it honestly, it doesn't normally happen. But, you know, when we see something we like, you know, great minds think alike, girl.
Exactly, Erica.
It's a great ad for the dress. It looks great.
Yeah, maybe
Come on,
they'll
Rent the
start to
Runway.
sponsor us. This is Badgley Mishka, Rent the Runway. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Erica. Bye, guys.
Sorry, snickerdoodles.